Hey, what's up guys? It's Stargirl the Practical Witch and welcome back to my channel. So today I am here with a horoscope message, what you need to hear for the end of July 2020 based on your zodiac sign. I'm going to be referencing sidereal degrees, not tropical. So if it sounds like I'm talking a different language, that's because I am, but I'm also going to be using tarot and stuff like that. So if you want to figure out what you need to hear for the end of July 2020, you can click the timestamp next to your zodiac sign in the description or the pinned comment, but I will tell you guys that your rising sign and moon sign is going to be the most accurate. You can check out your sun if you want, check out your sun, moon, and rising sign, but the rising sign and moon sign is going to be the most accurate, okay guys? And also I'm using sidereal placements, so if you know your sidereal placement, you should check that out. But if you don't feel like it and you just want to check out your tropical because your sidereal one doesn't resonate, that's okay too. Just pick whichever horoscope that you honestly feel the most drawn to, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter as long as you find the message that's for you. So pick whatever zodiac sign that you want, tropical, sidereal, it really doesn't matter. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get started on what you need to hear right now based on tarot and also astrology. So Aries, I'm hearing that a lot of you have a lot of creative blocks right now, and Spirit wants me to tell you essentially that you're having creative blocks in your life because you are being a perfectionist and you're being hypersensitive about your creations, and it's not really like you're not going to feel creative if you're always picking yourself apart and everything that you do apart a lot. So as an Aries rising or moon, one of your main motivators in life, and even if you're an Aries sun, but especially so if you're an Aries rising or moon, is one of your main motivators in life is always going to be money, beauty, and love. And that's because Taurus is in your second house and your first house ruler is 12 houses away as Aries, which means that you release action in order to get Taurus things, which is beauty, love, and money. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't want you to get defensive and be like, well, that's not true. I'm not like that. It's okay to want I want money. Everyone wants money, but that's going to be one of your main motivators in life. And also arts, because Taurus is art too. So art, beauty, love, money, all of that stuff, aesthetics. And what's going on for you guys is that I want to tell you that you're super talented, okay? And especially right now because Venus is in your second house. However, right now you're having a hard time seeing that because we have so many planets going retrograde in Gemini and sidereal, which means you're overthinking it, perfectionism, over critiquing yourself, over critiquing your beauty, over critiquing everything that you're doing. It's just making you feel really weird. Just stop, leave it alone. You're talented, it's fine, this transit will pass. Everyone's feeling weird, I'm feeling weird, everyone's feeling weird right now because it's Mercury retrograde. And Gemini placements suck. That's really all there is to it. But the sun is going to go into Cancer in the 4th house, so it's going to be okay. But what you will realize is you really tap into your creativity when you tap into your emotions as a Aries rising. And creativity is everything from web design. Creativity is a passion for life where you are doing things from the joy of doing things. So I know not all of you are artists or musicians. Some of you could be entrepreneurs because you have Leo in the 5th house, which means you shine in 5th house matters. And the 5th house is love, romance, beauty, creativity, entrepreneurship, gambling, which is entrepreneurship. And that's where you guys shine, and you always will, is in the entertainment industry with Leo in the 5th house. But a lot of the times you're not able to tap into that unless, because Cancer is 12 houses away, you tap into your emotions. You have to be in touch with your emotions and your sensitive side and your feminine side in order to nurture your creativity. And how you do that essentially is you don't do things because you have to, because of the pressure of status, because you have Saturn in the 10th house. So you're feeling that pressure of wanting to make a name for yourself, of wanting to have money, power, status, making a legacy, all that stuff. You're feeling that with Saturn in the 10th house. But even though you feel that pressure, it's really important for you because the sun will be opposing Saturn, which means the sun will be in the 4th house of Cancer, Saturn will be in the 10th, which means that you just have to quiet the mind and focus on the sacral chakra. And I have a lot of trouble with this, so I can give you some tips. Essentially, what you want to do is you just want to do things for the fun of it, create for the fun of it, rather than for a journey or destination. So for the longest time, I didn't do music because I wasn't making money from music. I would just keep doing astrology, tarot, but I'd get burnt out. And that's one of the reasons I had a breakdown in my previous video. Once you just do art for the fun of it, even if it doesn't do anything or go anywhere and there's no intention for that, you'll get in this like energetic space and it's super healing. And I know it doesn't seem like it, and it's like, why waste time on things that aren't going to make results now? I get that, but trust me, if you just let yourself be creative, because the divine feminine side, which is Cancer, is creativity. If you let yourself be creative just for the fun of it, despite the pressure you might feel from work or your responsibilities, it's going to heal your mood, and this is going to attract luck, and this is going to attract blessings. And also, I'm feeling like too, a lot of you, you're going to be traveling in like mundane astrology because your 1st house ruler's in the 12th house, Jupiter, Pluto's in the 9th, or a lot of you feel the need to move homes overseas, or a lot of you are moving overseas, or you want to move, or there might be some sort of spiritual awakening going on where your higher mind is activated. But all of that needs to just chill for a second because it's about to be Cancer season in sidereal, which means relax at home, tap into your divine feminine side, release the perfectionism, and that's always going to be an Aries. Like that's your path. And remember, check out your other signs because, you know, some of you, it might not resonate for some of you because you might be a different rising moon, whatever. But anyway, that's what I have for you. So I'm going to move on. Okay, so Taurus, this is what I see. I see that right now you're going through, okay, so first of all, Taurus, rising and moon, this is going to be the most for you. So if it doesn't resonate for your sun sign, that's okay. Check out your other signs. But I said this in my other video, but I got the transformation card, and I love this deck, guys, because it's like the shamanic, guys. I seriously feel like I have something wrong with my brain because I can't say certain words. Shamanic deck where it has animals and bug symbolism, and I really love it. And I think this one is like a cicada or something, but anyway, it's the transformation card essentially, which is Taurus. A lot of you are going through some huge transformations in your life. And this is because when you are a Taurus rising, moon, whatever, actually Taurus moons, this is more for risings, but whatever, this might resonate for you. You're here to learn about transformation, and that's why you have Sagittarius in the 8th house. And this also means that a lot of you only find God, faith, and spirituality when you are going through something really serious or extreme. And I said that a little harshly. I don't mean it like you're not spiritual people, but you don't really find and understand God until you're going through something that's really traumatic. And when you are, since Sagittarius is in your 8th house, God, the creator, the universe is there for you. So I want you to know whatever transformation you are going through, whatever stress you are going through, God really has your back right now, especially with Jupiter, Pluto being in the 8th house. Your faith is really being developed through these transformations, and these transformations don't have to be bad. They can be good. When it's in the 8th house, this is just like extreme transformation. So it could be anything from money coming unexpectedly, good luck coming unexpectedly that really strengthens your faith in miracles and God. Or it could be you personally are going through some intense transformations that makes you rely more on spirituality and God, which is all a really good thing, honestly. But when I see this transformation card, this just lets me know that a lot of you, especially Tauruses right now, are just going through this huge transitional phase. And a lot of you, because I also had surrender to the divine in reverse, a lot of you just don't have faith that everything is going to be okay, but it is going to be okay. You just need to have faith, believe in miracles. Tauruses, I know a lot of you, because Sagittarius is in the 8th house, you have a tendency to be pessimistic or not really believe that something higher than you is working in your favor. It kind of reminds me of that guy from Signs, that one who used to be a pastor but then stopped being a pastor because his wife died and he stopped believing in God. But then when the aliens invaded, he saw God working in his life again, and he realized that he never lost his faith. He was just angry at God. I'm getting the chills. I feel like you guys should watch Signs, because I feel like Mel Gibson's role in that movie is kind of what you're going through. Now with the High Priestess, I do see that there's likely right now some sort of important woman in your life. Definitely, I feel there is some important woman in your life going on right now. Let's get some clarifiers on this. Yeah, with the Ace of Cups. So the sun is in your 3rd house of Cancer, which represents family and siblings. So for a lot of you, you're being called to heal a relationship with your sibling. And you know what? Yeah, I feel like a lot of you are being called to heal the relationship with your sibling, or there's going to be a huge emphasis on a sibling or some sort of woman in your life during that time. I really do sense that. And you have Leo ruling the 4th house as a Taurus, which means that a lot of your pride in life, a lot of your self-esteem comes from your home environment and your family, or there's some sort of like, someone you look up to in your family. A lot of the time it's male, but it doesn't have to be male. It could just be some sort of strong figure in your family that you really look up to and respect. That's in your 3rd house right now. So I really sense there's someone in your family who's going to be giving you a lot of support during this time, a lot of emotional support. Now, the positive thing I do see for you, Taurus, is that right now during this time you are going to be very creative. And why is that? Well, because you're a Taurus rising, sun or moon, you have Cancer in the 3rd house, which means how you nurture yourself is through creative writing. And this is something that is going to come easy to you because it's in your 3rd house. And things that are in the 3rd house are things that are more natural to us. It's pretty much Taurus in this life. You're meant to follow your feelings and what you feel like doing. And as a Taurus, because you're ruled by Venus as well, and that's going to be sextiling Sun in the 3rd house, this really shows me that a lot of you guys, you really nurture your creativity through creative writing. And a lot of you, I feel like that's how you're going to heal yourself during this time, is through creative writing, through poetry. But the 3rd house is also of film. The 3rd house is also of like movies, TV shows, acting. So the 3rd house to me, a lot of people say it's communication, radio, social media, but nowadays, because of how far technology has gone, the 3rd house to me is like media, honestly, like social media, YouTube, acting, filmmaking, being in front of the camera, all of these things. And you have these natural talents. This is how you nurture yourself, is through talking about things, talking about your problems, expressing yourself with words, expressing yourself to your community, and all of that stuff, right? And I'm sensing that a lot of you are going to be feeling a little bit alone during this time. There's like a feeling of loneliness going on. And I do sense that. During this time, learn how to nurture and mother yourself instead of looking for someone else to do it. Learn how to mom yourself. Learn how to mother yourself, because I do sense that there might be a feeling of not being enough, or like feeling like things aren't moving fast enough. I also see that for you. But honestly, guys, I got the writing imagery twice. A lot of you need to be creative writing. You guys are natural poets. Talk about what you're feeling online. You know what? I hate when people fearmonger with astrology and they say things like, oh, be careful what you say during Mercury retrograde. Just no, like, put your heart out there. Speak from your heart. Communicate with your heart with Cancer in the 3rd house. Put yourself out there online if you want to. That's how you nurture yourself. And also by having deep talks with other people. Say what you feel out loud. Post it somewhere. And if people don't like it, who cares? Because at the end of the day, it's what makes you feel good. It's what makes you feel better, right? Taurus, also try not to worry about money too much. Try not to worry about money, because one thing in your life, Taurus, Gemini is a mutable sign, which means, yeah, in the second house, money might be unstable, but there will always be a way for you to make more money. You are learning in this life how to make that money. Mercury's going retrograde in your second, so you might be really worried, concerned about money. Just have faith. And Taurus, one thing, don't be so concerned with taking yourself too seriously, because Saturn's in your 9th house, Sun is opposing it in the 3rd. So a lot of you, you might feel like your personal creative expression, your communication style, so you have Cancer in the 3rd house, which means that you like creative writing, you like acting, you like doing creative things with media, you like that stuff. But with Saturn in the 9th house opposing it at the end of July, you might feel like you're not good enough, or other people are judging you, or you might take yourself too serious and become really pretentious. Don't do that, Taurus. As a Taurus, you know what? Just kick people out of your life who make you feel less than. Kick people out of your life who make you feel that you're not smart enough and you have to be pretentious and you have to know this, that, the third, and have like a college degree, because, you know, sometimes, you know, as a Taurus rising, you might feel like, well, I'm not that cool. I'm not as like smart as this person, or I'm not as refined as this person. And then you might try to make yourself be more refined and serious and cool and educated, when in reality, your creativity doesn't come from that. It comes from you expressing your heart and your emotions with Cancer in the 3rd house. That's why you have Capricorn in the 9th. So what I want you to do is, if anyone makes you feel judged, if anyone makes you feel like you're not smart enough, good enough, refined enough, cool enough, educated enough, screw them, because that's not your path. And your path is honestly just expressing, writing, and creating from your heart and your emotions, and that's not always going to be refined. So don't let anyone tell you you have to write poetry a certain way, you have to create in a way that's no, create from your heart, your emotions, and you will always be successful. And the more you speak about your emotions, I'm hearing a lot of you are being called to get a therapist. The more you speak about your emotions, the more emotionally strong you're going to be on the inside with Leo in the 4th. So that's all I have for you. I hope you have a good one, and I'll see you later. All right, Gemini. So this is your end of July horoscope and tarot reading. So I'm so sorry, Gemini. If you're a rising Gemini, moon Gemini, whatever Gemini you are, and you've been going through the roughest year, I am so sorry, because when you finally had the sun in your 1st house, which means that there should have been a lot of confidence, there should have been a lot of fun, joy, you know, all of that stuff. Mercury was going retrograde, so you were trying to figure out, you were reinventing yourself, you were trying to figure out who you were. You're trying to pretty much like reinvent who you were. So it's like like having the sun in the 1st house kind of took away from that confidence, because you were so busy trying to reinvent who you were as a person and figure yourself out. And like, it just seems like with all of these transits that the world is just out to get you and you can't catch a break. I feel that for you, and I'm so sorry, Geminis. But what's going to happen at the end of July? I want to tell you this, Gemini. First of all, you have Leo in the 3rd house, which means, and Leo is the original ruler of the sun, of the spotlight, of where you shine. So when you have Leo in the 3rd house as a Gemini rising, moon, sun maybe, but rising and moon is going to be more accurate. This means that you are meant to shine in 3rd house matters. And the 3rd house is TV, it's film, it's media. And because of the ways technology has been growing so much throughout the years, I actually view the 3rd house as being the media now, because the 3rd house rules communication. It rules speaking and writing and how we communicate. And how we communicate nowadays is through the television, it's through film, it's through social media, it's through YouTube, it's through Instagram, talk shows, radio shows. And the 3rd house to me also represents like film, cameras, communicating something through the expression of some sort of technology or media device, right? So it's all of those things, and that's where Geminis are meant to shine. But why is it that if we look at the past, Gemini risings don't tend to be people who are very famous, even though they're meant to shine in areas such as the third house of communication, of media? This has been changing in recent years, but this is because as a Gemini, you are learning essentially how to be a Gemini rising. It's not something that necessarily comes easy to you. And the third house, you're learning how to shine in areas of the third house. But in order for you to do that, we have to look at the house that's 12 houses away, which is Cancer. And this is where your sun is going to be. So in order for you to shine as a Gemini rising in media, talk show, communication, in social media and film, you have to have time to nurture yourself, because the second house of Cancer essentially means for Gemini rising that in order for you to become grounded and to be healthy, you have to do Cancer-like things. And Cancer relates to the divine feminine. And we all have a divine feminine and masculine side of our soul. But the divine feminine it rules our creativity. It rules imagination. But how we get in touch with our divine feminine is when we're still in the moment and we do things for the sheer joy of doing things, not because we have to or because we're trying to reach a goal, but simply we create because we want to create. So Geminis, what this is really going to be about for you, if you want to shine in that third house of social media, of film, of like radio, talk show, communication. The end of July, when the sun is in Cancer in your second house, what the universe wants you to do essentially is slow down, because a lot of you guys are very burnt out. You're burnt out, first of all, with your mental health. You have a lot of anxiety. Mercury is going retrograde. You're overthinking things. Your random embarrassing moments pop up in your head. You're under a lot of stress currently. There could even be you're surrounded by a lot of enemies. That's also what I see too with the moon and the 10 of feathers. The moon is very deceptive energy. And if I see the moon symbolism in a card, this tells me that something's being hidden. There's something really deceptive going on here. And when I see the snake, both of these represent healing, yes. But I also, when I see these two animal totems, they represent something sneaky going on. And Gemini, you do have Venus in the 12th house right now inside sidereal degrees, which means there's a lot of hidden enemies behind your back. Specifically, Gemini, I would really watch out for theft during this time, because the sun is going to be in your second house of Cancer and opposing it in the 8th house of financial things. There's Saturn in the 8th house. So I just kind of feel like, Gemini, a lot of you need to be careful about enemies, because I also got the 5 of Swords. You guys need to be really careful right now, and I don't want to scare you. I want you to be safe. So what I would do, honestly, is during this time, I would check your bank account. I would even look at apps that might be secretly taking your money every month. That builds up to a lot of money. The universe really wants you, with the sun in the second house, to really focus and heal your finances and heal your financial things, because I feel like a lot of you either have, and theft doesn't have to be something serious, like, someone's point blank stealing from you. But it could just be like an app that you forgot to uninstall, taking some of your money each month. Something that you don't realize is taking your money. Be very careful with your security as well, because Cancer is also the sign of security, and it's in the second house. So Geminis, you have to have better financial security. Who has access to your bank account? This is just a month of financial healing, focusing on how you can heal your finances and have more protection, because Cancer is the crab of protection, how you can protect your finances more from other people. And also, what I can say, Gemini, is that as a Gemini rising, this is really hard life for you to learn, because in this life, a lot of your emotional state dictates a lot of what you receive in this earth. So as a Gemini rising, you're represented by the Magician, right? You can manifest things of your heart's desire. This is why you have Aries in the 11th house. This is why you have fire signs, quick fire signs in your wishes coming true house, the 3rd, 7th, and 11th. Because as a Gemini rising, you have the ability to manifest great things in this life. Unlike, I'm not going to say other signs, but unlike signs that have Capricorn or Taurus or slow-moving earth signs in the 3rd, 7th, 11th, you have fire signs, which means you can manifest things into the earthly plane, anything you so desire. But the thing about that is your mental health, and I'm getting so many chills, your mental health is so important in this, because how you are feeling is going to directly manifest your reality. So that's why you have Cancer in the 2nd house. This means that you have a karmic tie with your finances, and what you receive from others and your financial state is going to be a direct representation of how you feel about yourself. So this is a time when you really need to heal your emotional state, force yourself to be happy, and don't force yourself to be happy, but it's time for you to address your feelings, Gemini. And you know how a lot of you don't address your feelings? You don't address your feelings by overthinking, keeping yourself really busy, because I see that for you guys, by working, by researching. One thing, I'm a Gemini rising, and one thing that I had to force myself to do is just live in the pain. Allow yourself to feel some pain. It's not going to kill you. It's good for you. Instead of grabbing that drink or grabbing that pill or grabbing whatever it is that makes your anxiety go away, live in the pain and face why you're feeling anxiety. Think about it like earlier today, I was like, okay, I'm feeling anxiety because I'm nervous about the new video I posted, because I still have self-image issues and I'm insecure and I care what people think about me, and I'm dealing with rejection from this, that, the third. Like, I literally just forced myself to be honest with myself and figure out, why am I really anxious? And that did so much to heal my mood, just addressing it. Because when you address it, it's no longer something your brain's trying to hide, and it builds up. And this is when things will start flowing for you guys. Just allow yourself to live in the pain. And also, this is about what you eat too, because Gemini, your body is not very strong. So one thing that's strong about you is your manifestation ability, your mind. You're very smart, very creative, but your body is mutable in the 1st house of Gemini. And this means that what you eat, in the 2nd house is what you eat, right? The sun is in the 2nd house. You have to heal what you eat. You might be more aware of your emotional eating habits. You might be more aware that, you're eating things that aren't so good for you. You might be more aware that certain foods don't make you feel good. As a Gemini, since you're a pro-manifester, the foods you put in your body, even if you're a Gemini sun, the foods you put in your body affect your vibration and affect what you are able to manifest. Now, a lot of people say, well, if you believe in astrology, there's no way that the law of attraction is real. That's false for Gemini risings. That's false. I really do feel that way. And that is because your whole lesson in life is to figure out how to be human, how to have a human body. That's why you have Gemini in the 1st house, because Mercury, to me, is the planet of man, of body. And your 1st house is what you're learning to be. So you're learning how to be a human. You're learning that, okay, if I eat potato chips, I'm going to feel like crap. If I eat an apple, wow, I feel really energized. Or if I grind an apple up in the blender with some kale, I actually feel really good. Your food really impacts the way your body feels and your health. And these are all things that is going to be a huge focus for you. Really, Gemini, like, you are not like everyone else who can be tragic and do, not take care of their body and like be a poet and sit there like, trashing themselves. No, Gemini, like, I'm sorry, like, as much as you want to be that, you can't. You have to be very anal about your health and your body. And when you are, that's when your creativity soars, not when you're being dysfunctional. When you're being healthy, when you're working out, when you're watching what you eat, when you're taking care of your health, and all of these things are going to be a huge focus for you. And if you do this during this time, if you let yourself relax and heal your health, heal your body, whatever, when the sun goes into the 3rd house of Leo, wow, guys, like your confidence, your body, you're going to feel good. Like when the sun goes into the home sign of Leo in the 3rd house, you know, in sidereal, so at the end of August, this is when your creativity is going to soar. You're really going to be shining. I'm getting ringing in my ears. Your communication, your confidence, your happiness, like this is, you know, so just wait it out. And also be like focus on your security, your financial security at this time, guys. I really feel like, you know, this moon, snake, 5 of swords, I do not like this. There's like, be careful about your internet security as well, your financial. I'm really stressing that for Geminis. And also Geminis, one thing I want to say is this is also about a time about finding yourself and your talents. A lot of you, you have a hard time seeing your talents, and the sun is also of your talents and your abilities. The sun's going to be there. And you know what? This is about self-love, because when Geminis can't see their natural talents in the fullest light, they tend to be humble or very like emotionally connected to their abilities, because Cancer is in the 2nd house and Taurus is in the 12th house of what you're meant to release. You have to get over yourself, essentially. And I'm not trying to be mean. You have to get over yourself and stop being so humble and saying, well, I'm not that great at this. I'm not that great. Stop. You need to release that. You guys are really talented, and how you find your talent is simply by releasing that egotistical thought that no one's going to understand you and you're not that talented. And no, you are, guys. Like, you know, I feel like Geminis have a really hard time in this world, because what is valued, they're typically underestimated, because Gemini is the sign of the child. It's in the 1st house. You need to just know your worth and love yourself, because with Taurus in the 12th house, this means that you guys are naturally really creative, but you have a hard time seeing your talents. But when you release your talents to the world, you'd be really surprised at the positive feedback that you got back, especially if you owned your power. That's how I feel. That's all I have for you guys. I hope you have a good one, and I'll see you later. Hi Cancer, welcome to your July 2020 tarot and horoscope. So essentially what I'm seeing for you is that recently there is something that has been keeping you caged that you don't want to be in anymore. And the reason why I'm feeling this way is because, first of all, we have this like caged card where she's sitting in a cage. And also because Mars is going to be in your 9th house, inside real, not tropical, of freedom. And Mars is kind of like that wake-up call from God about things that you need to address. And it's in the 9th house of Pisces. And Pisces is about release, and the 9th house is about hope and freedom. So Cancer, I'm feeling like there's something that you need to release that's no longer bringing you happiness, and it's also restricting your freedom in some way. And I also got this for you as well, because when I drew some cards to describe how you're feeling currently, we also have the 8 of shells and the starfish. And the starfish and like the symbolism is about being stuck somewhere, being stuck on a surface. And the 8 of shells is the 8 of cups, which means not being emotionally fulfilled and wanting to walk away from something that is no longer bringing you emotional fulfillment. And I also have that as well with the 4 of cups, which also talks about not being able to be bothered, a lack of emotional fulfillment, feeling like you're caged in, feeling like you don't have the freedom because something, it doesn't even have to be like something's literally keeping you somewhere. It could be you are keeping yourself somewhere out of obligation or something, but you are not emotionally fulfilled in this commitment, in this thing that you feel stuck doing. So there's something that and this is why the sun is going to be in your 1st house, because it's forcing you in the end of July to address the way you are feeling about certain things. And essentially what's going to happen at the end of July, and I'm using sidereal degrees, not tropical, especially if you're a Cancer rising or moon, when the sun is going to be in your 1st house, the sun is your focus, where God wants you to focus on that month. And the sun is going to be in your 1st house of Cancer, which talks about feelings and emotions. And your 1st house is what you are learning in this life to be. So when it's in your 1st house, it's pretty much forcing you to address your emotions and address the fact that you feel like there's a lack of freedom in your life, because Mars, The sun is your focus, and Mars is, you know, the wake-up call from God. It's the tower moment in your 9th house of your higher mind, of freedom, of religion, of spirituality, of overseas travel as well. When Mars is in that 9th house with the sun in your 1st house, this is about addressing the fact that you feel stuck in something and it's no longer giving you emotional joy. And this is a wake-up call from God that you need to have faith enough to walk away from whatever it is. And for some of you guys, it's like emotional freedom is what I got. Yeah, I got like, there's like a feeling of needing emotional freedom at this time to go after what it is that does bring you joy, that's keeping you stuck. But at the end of July, essentially, you're going to be facing your emotions about it. So a lot of you guys, I feel like you're going to start being active, or you're going to start finding things that you enjoy doing actively. But what I really do see from this, because the sun is going to be in the 1st house, is this is when you're really going to have enough self-love to stand up for yourself. Because the sun gives you power, and when it's in the 1st house, it actually likes being in the 1st house. So a lot of you guys are going to have the strength and the power and the self-love and the trust in yourself to stand up for yourself, or walk away from a situation or something like that. That's what I see for your end of July. I do know that a lot of you, because you're a Cancer rising, you're very emotionally connected to your, first of all, the 1st house is originally ruled by Aries, and that's in your 10th house of career and father. A lot of you are really emotionally connected to your career or your father, and that's going to be in the 9th house. The 10th house ruler is going to be in the 9th house. So this could be a time when you're really healing the relationship with your father, or there's like a huge healing in the relationship with your father. Or like that's going to be a very huge focus. Or what's going to happen is that there might be some sort of change in your career, or change in direction in your career, or kind of like releasing the need to control, or because Cancers are really competitive because their 1st house ruler is connected to the 10th house, right? And Mars is going to be in the 9th house of release. So I kind of feel like, Cancer, this is just going to be a time when you're just going to release the need to be in control, and you're going to release some sort of aspect of your career or what direction you thought your career was going, because essentially what's happening for you, Cancer, is the North Node is about to move into your 11th house in sidereal astrology, which the 11th house is friendships. It's of friendships, it's of groups of people, and that's where karma is going to be directing you pretty soon. So what I'm seeing, Cancer, is a lot of you might be feeling this emotional unrest or really apathetic right now, because what I'm seeing is a lot of you likely need to join in or find some sort of group, and I feel like that's something you're really being called to do, because Cancer, it's really easy for you guys to be independent, because it just is. You're naturally very independent people, and also you're ruled as the crab, so you're very like protected. But what I'm seeing is that a lot of you with the 4 of Wands, you're being called to find a community, find friendships, find people you connect with, because pretty much what's happening, and I feel like you guys are going to realize the value of friendships in the last part of July, because I feel like what's going on is a lot of you feel really lonely, and I see that with the 8 of Cups and the 4 of Cups. I feel like a lot of you feel really lonely, very emotionally unfulfilled, and I feel like that's because with the 4 of Cups and the 4 of Wands is what you really need looking over here is people who understand you, and people who aren't going to take advantage of you, people who appreciate you. In Cancer, you know, a lot of people really like you. I mean, naturally. But sometimes with Capricorn and being in the 7th house, there might be like a block off of really connecting with other people, especially with Saturn being in the 7th because of the past. But I really feel like you're being called to socialize and join in. And I feel like that's how you're going to be more emotionally fulfilled. I do see with the trust card that that's definitely an issue for you guys, because in the past, people have taken advantage of you, people have hurt you. And in the past, like, you just felt like your trust was betrayed. But what I'm hearing for you, Cancer, is that you've grown so much, and you've had the North Node in your first house, so you leveled up, so to speak, already. You are able to know who you can trust and who you aren't, because you do have a spot on intuition with Cancer being in your first house. You're able to feel things. And I feel like you guys should have the self-love enough to trust yourself in your relationships and open yourself up, because you are very aware. And another thing I see for you, Cancer, is a lot of you are going to have the self-love and the strength to really start taking care of your body as well. You're going to have more stamina to get things done with Jupiter, Pluto retrograding back into Sag in your 6th house. I feel like a lot of you are going to really like build up your physical strength, and these are all things that are going to be good. And yeah, like that's what I see for you, Cancer. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you later. Bye. Hi Leo, welcome to your July 2020 prediction. So this is what I'm seeing for you guys. First of all, there is huge monarch butterfly symbolism going on here. I had it on this card for you, and I also had it on this card. So on 2 separate cards, I actually had the monarch butterfly that is blue. So a lot of you, I feel like, Leo, I don't ignore these things. I don't ignore synchronicity when I get 2 of the same insect or animal totem, because this means that there is huge symbolism related to those things in your life at the end of July 2020. So first of all, what I took this as is a lot of you are finally metamorphosed into the best version of yourself. That's what I see. A lot of you have finally burst out of the cocoon stage. You have burst out of the caterpillar stage, and now you are this beautiful monarch butterfly that has successfully blossomed into their higher self, or more in alignment with their higher self. And I wanted to figure out, like, why is that? Why is that happening for Leos? And I think it's because the karmic nodes went through your sign in the 1st house, then it went through Cancer in your 12th house of healing, and now it's at the very end in sidereal astrology at your 11th house of wishes coming true. And the 11th house is also your higher self, right? And I feel like a lot of you guys, after all of these years, I would say for the past 6 years, you have really went through a lot of life lessons in figuring out how to become a Leo. You have went through a lot of release, a lot of addressing your emotions, a lot of very difficult things, to be honest with you. But with these 2 butterflies, what I'm seeing for you guys is this is finally it, where you are blossomed into the best version of yourself after all of the hardship. And what I'm also seeing too is I feel like a lot of you guys, you are going to see a lot of blue butterflies or monarch butterflies or that kind of symbolism around you. And I truly feel like that's because it's a reminder of how far you have gone and how much you have blossomed over the years. And you know, something else about this, Leo, I will tell you this, especially if you're a Leo rising, or moon, but I would say more for the risings. But honestly, okay, I'm not going to limit it only to risings. This could be for anyone that it resonates, but more specifically for the rising signs. Whenever I see a butterfly, I think of ancestors, because one of the ways my grandma communicates with me is through, you know, seeing beautiful butterflies and moths, and I'll just know. It's like an inner soul knowing. I feel like a lot of you have an ancestor coming through, or a deceased loved one coming through with the blue monarch butterflies. I really felt that. And I also got that too with the peace card. And if you look at the peace card, it kind of looks like the woman is sitting up in heaven saying, like, I'm in peace, I'm up in the clouds, I'm okay. This really looks like to me an angel watching over you in heaven saying that they're at peace. And with the 2 butterflies, I almost feel like this is a definite confirmation for those of you who have lost someone, that they are watching over you. And I feel that way too because your transits for right now. So there are psychic houses, Leo, in astrology, and certain transits light it up. That's why, like, sometimes we're not psychic all the time. Certain transits just really light it up. The psychic signs are the 4th, 8th, and the 12th house. And what's interesting about you, Leo, is that as a Leo, you have the psychic sign of Pisces in the 8th house. And the 8th house is spirits, it's ghosts, it's deceased loved one, it's ancestors, right? And in the 12th house, you have Cancer. And the 12th house is psychic ability. And Cancer is the sign of feelings, home, and family, and mother. So, and currently, you're going to, at the end of July, have the sun in the 12th house, which is your first house ruler. Your energetic body is ruled by the sun. That's going to be in your 12th house of spirit guides, of deceased loved ones, in the sign of Cancer. So family deceased loved ones, a female deceased loved one, someone who acted as a motherly figure to you. And then at the same time, you're going to have Mars in the 8th house of, like spirits and the other world. So guys, you're going to be really in tune at the end of July with your spirit guides, your ancestors. You're going to see a lot of symbolism. I'm hearing you're going to see a lot of 444. And 444 is an amazing number because, one, it shows you that you are on the right track to your destiny. It also shows you with 444 that your spirit guides are definitely around you, because if you add it together, it equals 4, 8, 12. It equals 3, which represents good luck, prosperity, the sun and the moon. So guys, you are on the right track, and I want you to know that. And I feel like a lot of you at the end of July, you're going to have a lot of intensely, deeply psychic experiences, and it might not be necessarily seeing spirits or ghosts. But what's going to happen is you're just going to have an inner knowing that a spirit or your spirit guides are around, and they're really going to show up as like the blue symbolism, the blue butterfly, 444, maybe even a dove. I'm hearing some of you could see a dove, or even like bee symbolism as well. Now, that's one message I got for you guys, but I also want to tell you, Leo, that as a Leo rising, sun and moon too, but if you're a Leo rising, you're actually really psychic people. And a lot of people don't think this about fire signs. And that's really strange, but you guys are. And it's because in your psychic houses, you have those water signs, those psychic signs. Leo, what I will tell you is you have Scorpio in the 4th house of your home. And I like Scorpio, but it's a dark sign. It is a dark sign. And not only that, you're going to have that 4th house ruler Mars in the 8th house of Pisces. A lot of you guys, I'm hearing you need to sage and cleanse your house. I really feel that, or the area that you are in, especially if you're someone who doesn't have windows, or you don't open your windows ever, and there's a lot of blocked energy. And I know that sounds like really woo-woo, and I'm not really, honestly guys, like I tested this out, like if you're feeling stuck energy in your home, what I'm hearing is that it's time for cleansing. You have to open the windows, you have to sage it, at least air it out, because I'm sensing there's some sort of stuck energy in your home. And Leo, you're very sensitive to energy, especially at the end of July when your first house body is in the 12th house. And Mars is in the 8th house, and Mars is the planet of a wake-up call in the 8th house, where it's like that psychic house. You might feel like out of balance. And the reason why I feel this way is because we have the empathetic starseed card. And it says absorbing what's not yours. Some of you guys, you have a lot of negative energy where you're living, or there needs to be a cleansing in your house. I really feel that. And if you guys feel like energetically drained in your home, anxious in your home, you don't like being at home, or whatever, I really sense that a lot of you need to cleanse that home. One thing I do want to say for you guys too is that mirrors are a big thing. Some of you guys, there might be like 2 mirrors facing each other that you have in your home, or maybe there's a need for you guys to cover a mirror, or you're seeing things in mirrors. But anyway, if that's happening to you, or this could even represent a TV. Some of you guys have too many electronics in your house, and when you have too many electronics in each room, it really disturbs the frequency of your house. And I know this sounds crazy. I like TV. I like watching TV. I'm not one of those spiritual people that's like throw away your TV, but I will say, like, if you have too many electronics, sometimes it's really good because of all of the frequencies that mess with our DNA to get some sort of orgonite to put around your home, because I do sense that a lot of you have a lot of electronics and things in every room. Get some orgonite. It's cheap. Put it in every room, because I think that your body is absorbing a lot of frequencies that's kind of messing with your messing with your energy levels a little bit or something like that. I'm just sensing a lot of electronics messing with your DNA, with the frequency, and that does happen, or sleeping with your cell phone, all that stuff you're going to be very sensitive to. One thing I do want to tell you guys for your end of July 2020 is that a lot of you might feel very impatient right now. A lot of us are. A lot of planets are going retrograde, and it might seem like things aren't moving. But what I saw with this waxing gibbous phase moon, first of all, the waxing gibbous is like this close to being full, right? It's like growing into the full moon, and it's this close to being full. A lot of you guys are literally this close to reaching your goal. You are this close to getting what you want. But in July, and maybe even towards the beginning of August, things are going to go slow for everyone. Things are going slow with Jupiter, Pluto retrograde, Saturn retrograde. Have a little patience, because good things are really coming for you, Leo. And I saw that specifically with the butterfly symbolism of you blossoming into yourself and the highest version of yourself. And what I see as well is that there's the King of Pentacles. And if we look at this card, the King of Pentacles in this deck, which I love because I love that animal symbolism, it's the tiger. And I love the tiger. I actually have a tiger like tattoo right here. I love it. The tiger is about speed. So a lot of you guys are trying to quickly do something, and this relates to the sign of Taurus. So it could be in your career, but what I'm seeing is you're quickly coming into a phase where there's going to be some sort of promotion at work, or you guys are finally going to get some inspiration at work, or a lot of you guys are going to finally have a direction on where to go with your work to spice things up. And I saw that with the Page of Acorns as well. First of all, I feel like a lot of you guys might be dealing with some dramatic people in your life, and I do see that with the Page of Acorns and the Fool. And the Fool represents Uranus, and the Page of Acorns is the Page of Wands, which represents drama. I see a lot of you might be surrounded by a lot of dramatic people right now, and a lot of you might be absorbing some of that drama, because as a Leo, you're really psychic. You're really one thing I've noticed about Leos is they're always right about people. They are always right about people. Leos always are right about people. That's because they have a psychic understanding of other people. And this is because, they have in their 8th house Pisces, and in their 12th house Cancer. Their feelings are normally right about people. And as a Leo, and also you get drained easy. So as a Leo, I feel like you guys are surrounded by a lot of immature people, in drama currently that's really impacting your energy. And what I'm hearing is these are children. Stay strong in your power and focus on what you need to succeed. Don't let all of these distractions get in your way, because I do sense a lot of distracting people surrounding you, especially with Uranus being in your 9th house and then that ruler being in your 8th. These people are really dramatic, messing up your energy. Don't let it get to you. You know your value, you know your worth, you know your integrity, you know your morals. Just stay strong in that, and have courage, and everything's going to be okay. And specifically for you, Leo, I just see, especially with the North Node moving into Taurus at the end of September in sidereal, I see like a promotion, job, pay raise, steady job, good job, leadership job, being in the spotlight, fast, because the cheetah is also fast, like a fast incline. So that's like all the things I see for you. But Cancer season is also about like rest and rejuvenation and sleep, which is going to be at the end of July. So that's what it's really going to be for you. But I do see like a heightened mood, good mood, getting drained a little bit easily, but that's because there's a need for you to have boundaries with other people energetically, because with Pisces in the 8th house, you kind of like let your emotions bleed into other people's, and there's a lack of energetic emotional boundaries with others. You take on other people's problems and emotions, but I feel like this is about like drawing your space and creating boundaries for yourself in that area. I just feel like, guys, like, I'm so proud of you. Here's a round of applause to the Leos. But that's all I have for you. I really hope you have a good one, and I'll see you later. Bye. Hey Virgo, welcome to your July 2020, end of July 2020 message, tarot reading, and horoscope. So I'm using sidereal degrees. You can this will be more accurate if you're rising or moon, but if you're a tropical Virgo and you wanted to look at this, that's fine. But anyway, essentially what I'm seeing for you guys is that I am seeing that there's somebody in your life that you have a lot of either anger, hate, passion, or attraction to, because Mars is in your 7th house of Pisces and sidereal, which is different than tropical. And the 7th house is partnerships. It's also of who you date. It's also of your business partners, your marriage, your romantic relationship, all of that stuff. And you have Mars, which is the planet of aggression, war, and also a wake-up call from the universe in your 7th house of relationships. So what I'm seeing for you, Virgo, is there's definitely someone in your life that you have either a strong connection to, a strong attraction to, or there's been a lot of conflict with some sort of relationship in your life, if that makes sense. And honestly, what this feels like to me, because when I look at this hot moon card, they're sweating under a red moon. It kind of looks like a love-hate relationship, Virgo, where it's almost like you're attracted to this person, but they make you really angry. Or it doesn't have to necessarily be in a romantic sense. This could just be like there's somebody in your life you have a lot of disagreements with, where they make you more angry than anyone else in the world. Or this could also be someone who's very angry and intense. But essentially, I'm just seeing there's a lot of conflict, like fighting and making up, or a lot of aggression surrounding you right now, especially when I see the 5 of Acorns and it's a roaring lion. It's an angry lion. That's the totem animal I got for you. So I don't know if it is you or somebody else who's acting like this with you, but I'm definitely seeing also with the Knight of Acorns, the 5 of Wands, there is a lot of fighting, arguments, in your relationships, or because Mars is also of intimacy, a lot of attraction to somebody currently who drives you crazy. Those are the messages that I'm seeing. But with the Knight of Acorns, this reminds me of the Lion King. So this is the animal in the Lion King who sings Hakuna Matata for the that song. That was one of the songs that popped up for me when I was looking at your chart. So some of you might want to listen to that Lion King song for inspiration. But also, this reminds me of someone who's like a bull in a china shop, someone who's really inconsiderate, somebody who's really impatient, someone who's getting on your last nerve. And that's like the energy I see surrounding you. And also with despair too, I feel like some of you guys, you might be going through something right now, and I really feel like it has something to do with romance, partnerships, disagreeable people, angry people in your life, or a lot of drama going on. This is a general reading, but that's kind of the energy that I'm feeling. So one thing that I'm seeing is when I look at your chart, I want to see why this is happening, because the universe isn't doing things to you for no reason. It's trying to teach you a lesson, and these certain planets are how God or the universe does. So at the end of July, like I said, Mars is a wake-up call, and that's going to be in your 7th house of partnerships. And then as a Virgo rising and moon, in your 2nd house of what you are learning to value in this life, or what you value, is Libra, is relationships, is connecting with other people. So as a Virgo rising, one thing that will, and moon, sun, whatever, what will always be important to you with the 2nd house is going to be Libra, because Libra is in the 2nd house, and that represents relationships. Now, the 2nd house is originally ruled by Taurus, which is in the 9th house for you. And the 9th house is of higher education, it's of tradition, it's of the law, it's of publishing and writing. So for a lot of you Virgos, one thing that will always be very important to you is relationships. It's also higher education, learning, knowledge, and wisdom. These are all things that are going to be important to you, as well as like publishing or teaching or something like that. So Venus is also going to be in the 9th house in Taurus for you guys. And what I'm really feeling like is the universe is trying to teach you what it is that you really value in relationships by giving you a bunch of different options or people who come into your life. And this could be business partnerships or friendships as well, because the 7th house is any kind of connection or relationship. So I feel like what's happening for you guys is that you are getting all of these extremes and all of these experiences because it's trying to teach you and show you what it is you really want and what it is that you really value in relationships. And one thing that I do see for you, Virgo, that has been happening recently is that there has been a lot of people that have been invading your boundaries, that have been getting in your personal space, that have not been respecting you, because Uranus, which is the sign of groups of people, is in your 8th house of what you share with other people. So what I'm really seeing is that a lot of you are, and Uranus rules your 6th house of Aquarius, which is enemies. A lot of you are way too close with your enemies, or a lot of you have too close or too trusting of your enemies. There's a lot of enemies that I see in your circle that are really like in your space, is what I'm seeing. And one thing, Virgo, is that with Virgo in the 1st house, you will always be connected to Aries in the 8th house, because the 1st house is originally ruled by Aries, and that rules your 8th house of darkness, of the occult, of healing, of everything that's hidden, of the 8th house is darkness. I'm just going to put it, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The 8th house is darkness. The 8th house is, where you get enlightenment because life gets so bad, and your 1st house ruler is connected to the 8th house of the occult, of surgery, of finding hidden things, of darkness, of like change, of death, all of that stuff. So Virgos, you are naturally people who are very dark in nature, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's a reason for this. And you're also people who are able to stomach a lot in your life, because as a Virgo, you have Leo in the 12th house, which means that where you shine the most, because Leo is where you shine, it's where you are, your soul, it's in the 12th house of healing, of spirituality. A lot of you guys are going to shine as people who are healers, or as people who are, or like spirituality, because the 12th house is spirituality, but the 12th house is also kind of a dark house. It's like, it relates to, yes, healing, psychic abilities, being a doctor, all of that stuff comes naturally as a Virgo. It also relates to losing yourself. It also relates to losing yourself through somebody else. And it can also relate to losing yourself in the process of creating your vision for work, or losing yourself through your work, or in some way, Virgo, in this life, you have a tendency to lose yourself because Leo's in the 12th of release. And the 12th house is ruled by Pisces in the 7th house. So Virgos, a lot of you either lose yourself in partnerships, you lose yourself through your work. So you just completely become engulfed in your work and your studies becomes your identity, or you put on a very heavy mask in your life, because you are so critical of yourself that you have to literally put on a different persona and a different mask in order to get through the day. That's what I'm seeing about you guys. And I feel like Spirit really wants me to tell you that you are beautiful. You are really beautiful. And I really feel that for you guys. And one word that came up into my head is Lilith energy. And Lilith is a seductress, very sexy. I see that too with the inspiration card, the 2 red and the red hair. A lot of you Virgos, you are a lot more attractive than you think. And a lot of people feel that way, but I feel like a lot of you guys, you hide under this mask with Pisces in the 7th, because Pisces is delusions, it's things that are hidden. You put on a heavy mask for the public to hide yourself because you're so critical of who you are. And I feel like a lot of you become so critical of yourself that you actually lose yourself. That's what Spirit is telling me. And I see that with despair too. So a lot of you might be hiding your despair through anger. And what I'm hearing for you, Virgo, because of this, I feel like, there's this huge need for you guys to show your real self to the world. And I feel like that's what you're going to start doing, is really showing your real self to the world. And I almost feel like there's really no way for you to hide from the world anymore with Uranus, with groups of people in your 8th house of yourself, like who you keep hidden. I feel like there's this huge urge for you to really put yourself out there and start being authentic. I see that for you guys. And one thing I'm seeing is that that can be really scary, because I feel like there are a lot of people who have seen your shadow side and your dark side recently, because Uranus is in the 8th house of things that you hide, which is you in your head. I feel like there's a lot of people in your head right now who you let see your dark side, and I feel like almost you're trying to push people away in a sense so they don't get close to you, because Virgos do have that tendency. What I'm seeing for you guys is that I just see a lot of passion and inspiration coming into your life, definitely. And I feel like one of the things that's happening to you, Virgo, with the belief card, with the belief 1111, I feel what it says: the frequency of belief supports our sense of self-worth based on our gifts and talents and a strong connection to source. And the 9th house, and Taurus is your talents. It's in the 9th house of publishing, writing, law. And your 2nd house of talents is Libra, and Libra represents people skills. It represents charm. It represents balance. I feel, Virgo, a lot of you have a natural talent of being able to charm other people. You have a natural talent of being able to teach. That's another thing with Taurus in the 9th house. You guys have a natural ability of publishing, of writing, because the 9th house is publishing and writing, and law as well. And there's like a high intelligence factor, especially when it comes to art and beauty, because Taurus is also art and beauty, but also of dealing with people and being very smooth, very charismatic, all of that stuff. All of those things are your natural gifts, Virgo. And you know, one thing I will say is that I feel like Spirit is really trying to get you to realize these gifts, because I feel like a lot of you are not able to see those gifts right now, especially if you're watching this towards the when I just posted and the sun is in Gemini. The trouble is believing in yourself enough to actually put things out there, to actually put yourself out there, to actually go after what you want. And I see that with the crown portal: divinity, unity, separation. With the crown portal right here, I really feel like a lot of you have had downloads about where you need to go in life. That's why the North Node has been in your 10th house of career, because the North Node is pushing you towards exploring what your destiny and legacy here on Earth is. And I feel like a lot of you have had downloads about what it is you were meant to do on this plane, especially with Saturn in the 5th house. And a lot of that with Capricorn in the 5th house talks about management of business management in the entertainment industry. So a lot of you might feel called to be managers in the entertainment industry, or be entrepreneurs in the entertainment industry, because Capricorn is our legacy, and it's in the 5th house of fun, romance, media, creativity. It's also the house of entrepreneurship, media, talents, hobbies. So some of you guys, your legacy might be in that, of being a manager for talent, a talent manager, or somebody who, or maybe like your kids, because the 5th house is kids, maybe you know, being a show mom or whatever. But whatever the case is, I really sense that a lot of you, or it could even be a teacher, because Capricorn's in the 5th house, but whatever it is, a lot of you have had downloads about what you need to be doing for your destiny. That is why you have the North Node in the 10th house. It's pushing you towards your career. But I feel like what's going on right now, because Mercury is going retrograde in the 10th, is there's like a lack of belief, or a lack of actually going after to pursue your goals. There's like a hesitancy I'm feeling, because there's a lack of belief in your talents. But I feel like there's a force, like, because 12 houses away is Venus in the 9th, reassuring you that you are on the right path. The answers you've gotten about where you need to go career-wise is the right path, is the place to go. And you know, for some it could even be publishing art, whatever. But or even teaching art too, because Taurus is in the 9th house. But whatever the case is, because this is a general reading, you're getting answers. And I see that with the answers card. Some of you guys, you actually have a male watching over you right now. You have some sort of male spirit guide. And you know, the 12th house is actually our spirit guides, the angelic realms, things that we cannot see. You have Leo in the 12th house, which tells me that a lot of Virgo risings are inclined to have male ancestors watching over them. A male ancestor you have met, a male ancestor you haven't met, maybe it's a father. But you're getting a lot of answers right now about what direction you need to take, and they're motivating you, they're cheering you on, you know, you're getting inspiration and passion. These are all things I see at the end of July, but I am sensing that there is this despair going on. There is this like emotional, and I feel like with Jupiter, Pluto in the 4th house and the South Node being there, it has something to do with home, family, or just your emotions are very intense. They're very deep. And there's a lot of despair going on about relationships and maybe even your family relationships or your home life. And I just feel like there's a lot of anger. And I feel like this anger could be really expressed in a really amazing way through creativity. And I also see that a lot of you too as well. Communication is always something that's going to be really hard for Virgos, because Scorpio is in the 3rd house, and the 3rd house is of your communication. So I know that Virgo risings tend to really like horror movies. They tend to really like gory movies, or, you know, sometimes too, it's just that their communication and thinking is really dark. They struggle with depression and dark thoughts and stuff like that as a Virgo rising. And I feel like with the 3rd house ruler in your 7th house of partnerships, it can also be like kind of like with Scorpio in the 3rd house, communication can be very passive, but there's a lot of seething anger. So with Mars in the 7th house, I keep getting communication is key. There's like this talk you need to have with someone about your emotions and the way you feel, as opposed to expressing anger. I just keep getting communication is key for you right now, like talking things out and being calm. So that's all I have for you, Virgo. I hope that helped. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye. Hey, Libra, welcome to what you need to hear right now for your July 2020. Okay, Libra, so this is what I'm seeing with Soulcraft. I'm seeing that your soul has literally been pushing you in a certain direction on what your life purpose should be. I'm seeing that the universe also, with this life purpose card, has literally been showing you point blank what it is you are meant to do here on this earth. They've been giving you huge ideas. They've been yelling it in your ear where you need to go, because I also have the North Node, which tells me, Libra, that the universe is really pushing you towards that 9th house. And that 9th house, where your North Node is right now in Gemini, represents preaching. It talks about spirituality. It talks about publishing. It talks about travel. And it also talks about finding your community in a country that's different than yours, or finding a community with spiritually minded people, or people who are into philosophy, or highly educated people. So whatever the case is, a lot of you might have even thought about going back to school. Some of you might have even thought about that. Or it could have been with, like I said, writing, publishing, traveling, moving somewhere else, preaching, whatever. What I'm seeing by this is that the universe has literally been telling you, yes, whatever this idea has been, this is your soul craft. And soul craft to me represents what you're naturally inclined to do and what you naturally like doing, not because you want something out of it like money, fame, or success, but something you just genuinely like doing that really invigorates your soul, because this is called a past life talent. This is called a soul's calling. Do you think that everybody is good at writing? No. Do you think some people want to be good at writing, but it takes them a long time until they can be good, and they have to go to school and they're still not as good as some writers? Yes, because this means this, like, the difference is some people are just born with a natural soul craft, a natural inclination towards something. And for you, Libra, I think you know what this is. You have a natural inclination towards either writing, traveling, some sort of soul craft that you love doing. And this is a gift, because I don't know if you guys have ever seen that movie Office Space, where he's like, you know how people are like, do your passion? Well, I have no passion. If I could, I would do nothing. That's kind of like the boat I'm on. So I'm just being honest. So when I see this soul craft for you, this is a blessing from God, because this means like this thing that you love doing, this thing that just calls to your soul. Yes, you can make this your life purpose. Yes, you can make money from this. Yes, you can uproot, because when I see this, I think of uprooting. Absolutely, you can uproot what you're already doing and uproot your life for your soul calling, for this soul craft. Absolutely, you can. And it doesn't have to just be the 9th house things that I talked about It could be anything because this is a general reading, but yes, what are you waiting for? The universe has literally been speaking to you. Speaking, because I have it with messenger too. Yeah, I hear it with messenger. The universe has been telling you what your soul craft is, and that whatever direction, if it's going back to school, rerouting your life, you just have a calling or an inclination to do something. Yes, absolutely. This is what you were meant to do. This is a time where everyone, Libra, right now is uprooting their lives. This is a time when the world is changing in such a big way. Jupiter-Pluto conjunction, Saturn-Pluto, in Capricorn, in, all of these conjunctions, if you look it up, these things haven't happened in thousands of years, these exact conjunctions. And when it did, societies and kings and queens fell. This society is changing in such a big way with everything going on, the virus and everything. It's almost like a sci-fi movie if you think about it, and it's really easy to disassociate and think the world's not changing, it's going to stay the same, everything's fine, it'll just go away. But it's not. The world is changing, which means our life purposes are changing, which means the path that we were once on is no longer going to be the path that we are now still meant to take, because the world is changing and you are changing with the world, and you can't stay in the past or you'll become a ghost. And that's something that we all have to realize. And I'm seeing that your path is uprooting you to something new, and to trust in the path, because if you're feeling, because we have the moon right here, if you are feeling happy, called, passionate about something, then do it. The old world is no more. Some of you are still working as a slave for someone else, as I see. Some of you guys, the thing about it, Libra, is you were born a Libra rising because in this life, you need to learn how to work with people and learn how to balance your masculine and feminine energy. That's why you were born a Libra in this life. And a lot of you Libras, you have a tendency to flip-flop between being very independent, where you don't want to be around anyone, where it's all about you, and then you flip-flop completely into someone who lets people step all over their boundaries, walk all over them, tell them what to do. You become the martyr for other people, essentially. But what I'm seeing is you're stepping into a time when you're balancing your energies, where you know when it's time to be of servitude to others, but also you have clear, strong boundaries, and you're not afraid to stand up for yourself. So I want to congratulate you on the fact that you have really started to achieve balance in your life. You are nobody's slave. It's time to start doing things for you, but at the same time, you're also going to care about those around you, if that makes sense. Like, you're really starting to balance those energies. And I think that's something, because you've done a lot of self-reflection, I'm seeing. And I feel like you guys deserve a congratulations, because I really do feel as though a lot of you have worked on yourself a lot. You have balanced your energies, you have learned how to work with people. You don't let other people tell you what your values are, what to do, but at the same time, you're still very caring. You've just grown as a person, is what I'm seeing. And with Jupiter return benefits, this tells me there's a lot of money coming your way. There's a lot of good luck, serendipitous luck coming your way, specifically in regards to your communities, to job, and also to money. But this isn't just any kind of money, because we have the Nine of Pentacles, and the Nine of Pentacles talks about money that you have earned after you have planted the seeds, after you have watered those seeds, after you have worked really hard. The Nine of Pentacles isn't random money. This is money that comes from hard work, from really planting the seeds, watering the seeds, caring for them, letting it grow. And then after a long time, the fruit starts to grow, and now you're picking the fruit from the fruits of your labor. That's the kind of money I see coming in for you. And I see that because Venus is also in your 8th house at the end of July. So what I see about this is money coming your way that you have earned, opportunities coming your way that you have earned, a finished project coming to completion that gives you a reason to celebrate. Like a finished project, a finished thing that you have worked really hard on coming to a close, coming to fruition, and now you're reaping the fruits of your labor. And I see that with ceremonies and celebrations as well. I see that for you guys. There's going to be a lot of reason to celebrate. Libra, what I'm also seeing for you with this Justice card and also the Two of Swords and the Six of Crystals is I really feel like there's some sort of business partnership or some sort of creative partnership or some sort of partnership or agreement you're going to be signing at the end of July that is going to make you a lot of money. So I see you guys signing some contracts or having some sort of new business deal, business partnership, some sort of deal, some sort of contract you're going to sign that's going to be very fruitful for you, that is going to be a reason to celebrate coming for you at the end of July, but it has to do with some sort of business partnership, business agreement, creative partnership, someone investing in your vision, all of those things. And I'm also seeing as well, guys, that with Gaia, I feel a lot of you have been called to spend more time in nature. This is when, and also live in nature, live somewhere in nature, live somewhere more natural. If this is what you were thinking of doing, you absolutely should, because I'll tell you something, Libra, living in any kind of city is not good. And I don't know if I'm allowed to say this or not, but guys, those marks in the sky, the clouds in the sky, all of the exhaust coming from the cars, like it really affects your health. I lived in one of the worst places for it in DC, and my nose constantly had a drip and the back of my throat constantly had a scratch, and every time I stepped outside it was like I couldn't breathe. It's from all those chemicals outside. A lot of you have started to feel this in your lungs or feel this with your health. Where you're going to get the most recharge is being outside in nature with the trees, and I specifically heard for you like the all natural look is what you're going for now, the all natural living in nature. And I saw that with the trees, I saw that with Gaia, and I saw that with the tree here as well. A lot of you might want to start growing your own food, wearing natural clothes, living off the land, living in nature. This is absolutely your north node where the universe is pushing you to go, because the world is changing, and that's how I truly feel for you guys. So that's all I have for you, Libra. I really hope you have a great one. Good luck with healing, and I'll talk to you later. Bye. Hi, Scorpio. Welcome to your July 2020 message for the end of July. I'm using sidereal placements, not tropical, so if it sounds different, that's why. But Scorpio, what I see for you is a lot of you are manifesting a romantic relationship if you're not already in one, and the reason being is because Venus is in Taurus in your 7th house, and Mars, your 1st house ruler, is in the 5th house of love and also of romance. So I do see Scorpio, a lot of you have a special someone on your mind. For some of you it could be someone from the past is what I'm seeing, or you could already be with someone currently. And also with the sun being Cancer in the 9th house, this talks about law, this talks about marriage, this talks about commitment. So I'm seeing a lot of you Scorpios, what's going on right now is that a lot of you have been really craving a love relationship. A lot of you have been really craving like to be really close and intimate with someone who really gets you. And I see that with true love come to me, the relationship card, all of this pink card, and also the 10 of crystals and the 10 of cups. So for those of you who are in a relationship, I really do feel like this is the relationship that has the possibility to be something that's financially abundant as well as emotionally abundant for you. And I really do have a sense that this person, this could be something that's very, very long term and a very happy, functional relationship. For others of you who are not in a relationship, I do sense that a lot of you are thinking about partners from your past. You're thinking about the past a lot. You're thinking about past relationships, or you're trying to manifest. You're trying to manifest like a partnership. I do sense that coming in for you. Absolutely, Scorpio. The reason being is because the North Node is moving into your 7th house of Taurus in a few months in sidereal. So I definitely see that coming for you very soon, and that's why you're wanting it. That's why you're feeling it. And whoever it is that you're with right now, I feel like this could lead to marriage, actually. For those of you who are older, I see all of that happening for you. This is a time where at the end of July, partnerships are really important to you. Partnerships, connecting with other people, because you know what's going on. You know what I feel for you, Scorpio? When Mars is invigorating your 5th house of your heart, and the 5th house is ruled by Pisces, which is of healing, it's of releasing. I feel like a lot of you guys, not only that, you're forgiving yourself and you're forgiving a lot of people in your life. This is a time where you feel more vulnerable, you feel more connected to others and more willing to open up to others in a sense. Scorpio, this is a time when your soft side is really coming out because you're starting to learn the importance of connection with other people and having close relationships. And I see like one of the things you guys have been working on is actually healing from a lot of resentments you've had in the past, healing a lot of your past relationships, and forgiving a lot of past relationships, because Pisces is a sign of release and forgiveness, and it rules your 12th house of Libra. So I feel like a lot of you guys have really just started forgiving the people in your life who have hurt you and releasing that pain so you can move on. Or if not that, a lot of you are actively trying to forgive yourself and others for the pain that you have went through in the past. And this is something that has really elevated your consciousness. First of all, I see that. Scorpio, a lot of you guys have evolved and really ascended spiritually, really leveled up spiritually, because you have been forgiving, you have been releasing, and also you've stepped up and been the bigger person and forgived a lot of people in your past for your peace of mind, which is really admirable. What I'm also seeing, so first of all, Scorpio, there's something about your destiny. If you're a rising sun, moon, it doesn't matter, but this is more for rising or moon because that's the most accurate. If you're Scorpio, you will always be somebody who is going to be in the spotlight. And the reason being, or a leader, or be in the spotlight with television media, or be a manager in television or media, because the sun rules your 10th house of fame. And then the 10th house is ruled by Capricorn, which is your legacy, which is in the 3rd house of media, of TV, of film, of radio, of communication, of social media. So a lot of you are meant in this life to make a legacy for yourself in either management of talent or through social media, online business, communication, radio, whatever. And this could even mean being a teacher. It doesn't have to just be like being famous, but it could mean being a leader by being a teacher or being a manager or something. You're meant to be in that leadership role and be a leader amongst a community with Capricorn in the 3rd house, or at least make a legacy for yourself online, right? And Saturn's in that 3rd, really pushing that. But Scorpio, in order for you to do that, what needs to happen? Well, we have to look at what's 12 houses away from Leo in your 10th house, which is Cancer in the 9th house. So in order for you to become that leader, for you to become that leader in your community, in order for you to shine at work or on social media or doing whatever it is you want to do, because no matter what you do, you will always be successful or be seen as a leader or in a management position or someone who has authority or someone who shines at work. That will always be the case for you, Scorpio. That is why some of the most famous people are Scorpio, some of the most successful, the bosses are Scorpio risings or moon, but mainly for risings. But if we figure out how you do that, we have to look at the house that's 12 houses away, because that is the release house. And what's 12 houses away from your 10th house of Leo is Cancer in the 9th house, which means in order for you to shine at work, in order for you to be seen as a leader at work, you have to nurture your knowledge. You have to learn. So a lot of this has to do with learning. Learning, Scorpio. The end of July is going to be a big time when you are expanding your wisdom and knowledge and learning, whether it's learning spiritually, learning new techniques, expanding your education, getting a certification, whether it is learning more about what you want to do in the future or expanding your knowledge. The end of July for you is going to be about hard work and expanding your knowledge and nurturing your knowledge, nurturing your mind, your higher mind. Because when the sun goes into Leo in your 10th house in a few months in sidereal, this is when you're going to be shining at work. So there might be a downfall at work. There might be a dip at work, but because this is a learning period, because the sun will be in your 9th house of Cancer, this is a time for you to learn. This is the time for you to learn what feels good to do. This is the time for you to nurture yourself through higher learning, through learning certifications, learning whatever sparks your fancy or you feel like doing, right? So this is going to be a huge learning period for you with sun in the 9th house. So Scorpio, what I see with the courageous multi-faced, unique nature, let yourself be seen. One thing I do want to tell you guys is that the way you're going to become successful and be seen in life is through the house 12 houses away with Cancer in the 9th. That is if you publish your true emotions and self out into the world. That is when you're going to be noticed. When you are authentic, you're vulnerable, you are not afraid to be vulnerable, and you put yourself out there into the world. Now, the problem with this is that you have Gemini in the 8th house, and you're naturally connected to the 8th house, which means you think very dark thoughts, you're scared of judgment. At the same time, it's really hard for you to speak from your heart. That's something that you hide off. You block away your heart almost. But what I want to tell you is, like, the more you put yourself out there, the more like you put your vulnerable side out there, the more you are going to shine at work. You don't have to put on a perfect persona. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to know everything like the back of your hand. What's important for you, Scorpio, is learning how to be authentic and learning how to put your emotions and vulnerability out into the world, because as soon as you do that with Aquarius in the 4th house of groups of people, as soon as you let people into your emotional life and your truth and you're vulnerable to let that happen, that is really when you're going to start shining and your creativity is going to take off. Scorpio, you're meant for great things. You are meant to be a leader, okay? Like you really are. And one thing that I want to tell you is, don't think that you need somebody else in order to succeed. Don't think that you need to be a certain way. Don't think that, don't think that you have to put on some perfect front to the world, because you don't. Because you have Scorpio in the 1st house, Sag in the 2nd house. Your being is extremely interesting. You as a person are interesting. You're talented, you're interesting. People find you attractive. Like Scorpio, Sagittarius risings are the most attractive people. They have that star quality. They have that old-timey movie star classic look. So interesting, but they're not able to see it because Taurus is in the 7th house, which means their talents are with other people, or they see other people as being talented and valuable, but not necessarily themselves, or they think that their value relies on a partner. No, it doesn't. It's you. And that's just the nature of life, though, where you're not able to see that about yourself. You're not able to see just how much star quality you have. You're always thinking you need someone else, a partner, or someone needs to bring it out of you. No. Or you have to, with Taurus in the 7th, you have to conform to the tradition. But as a Scorpio rising, you are intense, you are transformative looking, and this is what you're learning to do in this life. That's why you have Scorpio in the 1st. You're meant to be transformative, intense, put your vulnerability out there, be dramatic, be vulnerable, be raw, be open, be intense. But with Taurus in the 7th, it's like you value other people's opinions so much. You're trying to conform to other people's traditional values. Release that. That's why you have Libra on the 12th that rules your 7th. Release that. As soon as you release that and you allow yourself to be your dark, crazy, real, raw, authentic, show my soul, like the Scorpio rising you're meant to be, as soon as you do that, that is when you're going to find success at work. Don't try to tame yourself to be normal. Don't value so much other people's opinions or value somebody else's success more. Scorpio, you're meant to be this raw, out in the open person. And that's when that's what's going to hook people into you. That's how I really feel. But that's all I have for you. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you later. Bye. Hi, Sagittarius. Welcome to what you need to hear right now based on tarot and astrology for the end of July 2020. So I'm using sidereal transits, not tropical. So your sidereal, sun, moon, rising is going to be the most accurate. Just fair warning, if it doesn't resonate, be sure to check those ones out. So Sagittarius, what I'm seeing for you with this hummingbird card, I feel like a lot of you are going to see some hummingbirds around you for the next few weeks. This is a sign that you are being spiritually protected and watched over, because right now you guys are very close with your ancestors, with your deceased loved ones, because Pluto, which rules your 12th house of spirit guides, is conjunction your 1st house ruler, Jupiter. Saturn in your first house. So a lot of you are going to be seeing a lot of signs that indicate to you that your spirit guides are around. You're going to see hummingbirds specifically. That is a main bird you are going to see. And when you see that bird, I want you to look up the meaning of that bird, because I don't memorize all of these meanings, but what I do know is nothing you see is a coincidence. Everything that you see in your conscious reality is a sign. It shows you what you're in alignment with currently. And I feel like you're going to see some hummingbirds, and this is going to be important for you to look up the meaning when you see it and pay attention to the way that you're feeling, because this is going to be a message from your spirit guides. I'm specifically seeing that you are going to see two birds together, two birds next to each other. I don't feel it's just going to be one. I actually feel like it's going to be a set of two. So you want to look up the meaning behind this, and I feel like this is going to be a very big sign for you. And I also see that as well with these black birds as well. So if it's not a hummingbird, I feel like you guys are going to see two vultures or two ravens, and pay attention to what you're feeling, doing, and thinking during this time, because this is definitely a sign from your spirit guides. I am seeing that at the end of July, a lot of you are going through some emotional turmoil. I definitely see that, especially with the Five of Cups, which talks about what this card says is trust that there is a reason for everything that happens. Remove yourself from the negative emotions of others, focusing on that which frightens or worries you. I see with the Five of Cups and Independence, a lot of you guys are having some I don't think it's depression. Honestly, what I'm feeling from this is I feel like a lot of you guys have a lot of fear. And one of the fears that I was seeing, because there's two butterflies next to each other, I knew that these cards belong to each other. And this one says independent. So a lot of you might also be seeing monarch butterflies or two butterflies together. This is definitely your ancestors showing up on the material plane, trying to give you a message. So it could be a moth or a butterfly. Look that sign up, type in animal totems, insect totems, what it means, because this set of two is definitely communication from your spirit guides and your angels. But you know, it's interesting that it's a set of two, because a set of two talks about partnerships, commitment, emotional vulnerability, and emotions. And when I'm seeing the Five of Cups and the Independence card right here, what I'm seeing is that a lot of you are scared of true emotional intimacy. This can relate even if you're sun, moon, or rising Sagittarius. And the reason being is because in your second house, you have Capricorn. So for instance, if you have your sun, sidereal, in Sagittarius, and your second house is in Capricorn, this normally means that your father was either really hard on you, was not there, or there was a lack of affection from your father, or they were very hard on you and there was a tumultuous relationship with your father that has now impacted your trust and ability to open up emotionally, or like there might have brought a fear of opening up emotionally. If you have your moon in Sagittarius and sidereal, this isn't that great either, because the second house is what you get from your mother and father and like the affection you get. If you have your moon in Sagittarius with Capricorn in the second, this can mean that you grew up really poor, there wasn't a lot of opportunity for you, or your mother or father was really hard on you, really strict with you, really traditional, non-accepting of you, or you saw relationships in a very grim manner. Okay, so and also when you have Capricorn in the second house, Capricorn brings fears, right? The second house is also about money, status, career. These are all things that Sagittarius is actually really care about. And a lot of, that's why I like sidereal, because people will say Sagittarius are spiritual and this, you know, they are spiritual. We are spiritual. But there's a dark side that comes with Sagittarians, because they value Capricorn in the second house. They value status, they value money, they value hard work, right? And one thing that comes, you know, kind of hard for Sagittarius is their emotions and being able to open up to other people, because they have Cancer in the 8th house. And in sidereal, the sun is going to be in the 8th house, which means you're protective of yourself when it comes to emotions, especially close relationships with other people. And I'm sensing that a lot of you guys are feeling a lot of fear in regards to real intimacy with someone else. And this might not be something that you consciously realize. It could just be that because sometimes we don't want to face things like that. It could just be that you notice that you won't let yourself get like emotionally vulnerable with someone else, or you're constantly pushing people away, or you're constantly thinking of reasons why somebody shouldn't be in your life. There's almost like what's going on right now is that I feel like there's a fear of intimate relationships with other people. I'm not going to lie to you, Sagittarius, the end of July is not going to be a walk in the park for everyone, because it's a time of healing for everyone. Chiron's going retrograde in Pisces, Mars is in Pisces, the sun's going to be in Cancer, all of the planets are going retrograde. This is all about facing emotions that are really uncomfortable, especially from things in the past that might pop up in your head. For instance, Chiron's going retrograde in your 4th house of home and family. Jupiter, Pluto's in your 1st house, bringing all of those past issues you've had to the forefront of your consciousness. So some of you, for instance, you might have daddy issues that randomly start making you cry out of nowhere. A lot of you guys might have mommy issues or resentment towards your family that all of a sudden boil over and you start crying and you realize you're really not over certain things, or you might be feeling depressed and anxious and then you try to ignore it through drinking or some sort of distraction, because with Pisces in the 4th, this could literally mean like drinking or drugs or watching too much TV or doing something to get lost from reality because you don't want to face it. And that's something that I do all of the time. It's a normal habit, at least to me, where you don't really think about, why am I getting anxious? Why do I have all this self-loathing? Why don't I feel right? I feel uncomfortable. Maybe I should just drink, instead of really going, okay, why do I feel this way? And then you really go, okay, well, I'm worried about this because in my past, I was judged heavily by this person and I've never healed from that. So I'll give you guys an example. Some of you might be perfectionist or worried about money or your job, and you might feel like you're never going to be able to make money, that you're not good enough at your job or something like that. And then you might feel really bad about yourself. But when you think about it, you realize, well, growing up, what happened? Growing up, I was constantly told by my parents I wasn't good enough and I would never amount to anything. And I hate how my parents favored this sibling, and it made me feel really awful. And now I feel like I have to work extra hard, and it might be really hard for you to face like this core reason as to why you're feeling anxiety, depression, or you're feeling like not good enough. It all stems from the past and things you haven't addressed. And simply by being honest with yourself and addressing things like this, you will see where this is coming from, and you'll be able to release it and move on and heal. So it's actually best to heal from that now. And I see you guys are going to be doing that, and it might be painful, but doing this will make your confidence go through the roof, because Sagittarius, in this life, you were blessed enough to be born a fire sign. This is a blessing from God to have a fire sign, rising sun or moon. Especially Sagittarius, because Sagittariuses are ruled by Jupiter. And because of this, you will always shine in 9th house matters, because Leo rules your 9th house. And the 9th house is about publishing, which nowadays, if we look at modern astrology, publishing is YouTube, it is media, it is arts, it's acting, it is being in the spotlight. Sorry if my teeth are blue, I just ate blueberries, but it is also, your 1st house ruler is connected to the 5th house of Mars, of Aries, of creativity, fun, and entrepreneurship and teaching. So you will always shine in regards to being a leader, to being in the spotlight, either as a teacher, as an entrepreneur, as someone who's an actor, someone who does creativity for a living, someone who does even like active things for a living. You will always shine in that. But in order to figure out how you're going to shine in those fields, you have to look 12 houses away, which is Cancer in your 8th house of 12 from Leo, which means that in order to have good confidence, you have to heal from the past, because a lot of your confidence issues that you are having actually stems from your past. Healing the relationship with your mother, healing the relationship with your father. When you take the time to do this, it will open up your solar plexus chakra, because as a Sagittarius, you are meant in this life with solar plexus chakra to put yourself out there and be in the spotlight. And I see that you guys really want that too. You know what I see for you guys with the solar plexus chakra and hunger? You guys are craving money, power, glory. You want so bad to express yourself, be seen in this world, to live a fun life where you have a lot of intense experiences. You experience life to the fullest. Like, you have this hunger, as I see with the Wolf card, specifically with this female fatale in reverse. It says inappropriate use of sexuality, attachment to money and power. It is okay to want these things. I don't even think it's a negative thing, because at the end of the day, you want and you crave certain things like this because it is a part of your destiny. And if you crave it bad enough, this is what I've come to learn. If you crave it bad enough, that's because your soul in this life needs to experience it to realize, one, it's not what you think it is, or two, because it is actually your path. So if you have this urge, this craving, this need for success in your life, I'll tell you something. People who don't need to experience it will not have that same hunger. They will not have it. That hunger is for you, because there's something that you need to learn from gaining that success. Either you'll learn that it's not really what you want, you'll learn that it comes from something else, or it's your path. But either way, you're going to experience it. And I want to tell you that. And you know, what I'm seeing is a lot of you guys, you're thinking of new ways with this engineer card on how to do it. Sagittarius, a lot of you are naturally extremely intelligent, especially if you have your moon in Sagittarius, especially if you have your rising in Sagittarius, even if you have your sun. But, you know, planets like the sun and the moon do well in Sagittarius because it is a philosophical, I'm a Gemini rising, I'm like, ugh. But it is a sign of philosophy. You guys are extremely intelligent. In fact, in this life, what you are meant to do with Capricorn in your second house that originally rules your 10th house of Virgo, you were born a Sagittarius rising because you are meant to develop your skills. You are meant to develop your talents in this life. And in this life, Sagittarius, you are meant to pursue your talents and build up your talents. In this life, that is what you're literally meant to do. That's why you have Taurus in the 6th house. And even if you're like a teacher or whatever the case, I want to tell you, Sagittarius, because a lot of you guys tend to be teachers, social workers, or something, or work in the government. Even then, the solar plexus relates to power. It relates to being a leader. It relates to action. You are meant to be a leader in some way. But in order to be a good leader, in order to be in that spotlight, you have to face your demons, which is what I'm seeing. And what I want to tell you, Sagittarius, is you are good enough. I see with the Virgo card, the full moon in Virgo, there could have been some ending to your career or a lot of worries in regards to your career right now, because Mars is in your 4th house. There could be an ending or slowdown. Everyone's career is slowing down. Even celebrities are posting and everyone's like, screw off, we don't care. Everyone's career is going down right now. It's not just you. You're not that special. Okay, I'm going to tell you. You are good enough. It's just that the world is changing, and it's easy to think and blame it that you're not good enough, that it's because this, that. No, it's just this is the time to heal for everyone. And you are good enough, and it is in your destiny to be in the spotlight as a Sagittarius rising, even as a sun or moon, especially if you feel that way. And I see it with let yourself sparkle and shine. And also this relates to the opal, which talks about you're not supposed to get an opal unless someone gives it to you. This talks about receiving as well. So during this time, let yourself receive affection and intimacy from other people. Don't be scared of that. Because Sagittarius, you have Libra in your 11th house, which means in this life, your greatest wish for the future, whether you admit it or not, is being with someone who truly understands you. As I see was soul name. A lot of you, what you really want is a deep emotional connection. But how are you supposed to have a deep emotional connection with other people if you're constantly pushing them away and your false ego mask, as I see here, gets in the way? It's almost like, are you really letting yourself be vulnerable, or are you walking away in order to save face, in order to be like, oh, they didn't hurt me, I'm fine? Are you walking away from people? Are you walking away from friendships? Are you walking away from connections just because your mask, your ego, wants to keep you from getting hurt like you did in the past, because you feel like you can't trust anyone? These are things that are going to be coming up for you. And a lot of you guys, what you really want is someone who knows your soul name, who knows you on a soul level. And I see that you have those people in your life. I see it, and it doesn't have to be just romantic. It could be family or friends, whatever. I see it with the King and Queen of Acorns. You have these people in your life. It's about opening up to these people, getting over your fear of intimacy, this fear of intimacy that comes from, with Pisces in the 4th house, your past, and healing from your past, so you can realize what is your logical brain and what is a fear of abandonment keeping you from close relationships. So this is going to be about deep cellular healing, because I see with the horse and the deer, all you guys, you just want to run as fast as you can. As soon as things get real, you just want to run. You want to bolt. You're runners, like runaway bride, whatever. But you know what I think about you guys, Sagittarius? You also need in this life someone who's going to run after you or keep up with you. You need that in your life. And I see that coming for you guys, honestly. But with Venus in your 6th house right now, this is really about healing your relationships with people. And also, what I see with divine guidance, guys, and also dreams. Okay, we have so many full moon references right now. Emotions are really high for you right now, really high. And I also see it with the wolf moon. A lot of you guys, you are getting so many psychic experiences right now. You have the South Node in your 1st house, which means, Sagittarius, you're going through a great spiritual awakening, and you are turning into the person you are meant to be in this life. In this life with Scorpio in the 12th, you are meant to release darkness. You are meant to release the occult, and you are meant to follow your own divine guidance, because, Sagittarius, you are highly psychic and connected to the higher realms. You are connected to Jupiter, and Jupiter represents God, higher consciousness, and your emotions are too, because Pisces is in the 4th house of your emotions being psychic. You yourself and your emotions, your intuition is giving you so much divine guidance about where to go in your life and what to do. And I'm seeing a lot of you have had a lot of weird dreams. Your dreams are borderline psychic. You're able to visit other people in their dreams too, Sagittarius. I want to tell you that. So someone's like, I saw you in my dream. Your astral body probably traveled to theirs. You have either the ability to leave your body and astral project, or you have psychic dreams, you have psychic premonitions, and a lot of you are really close to your ancestors right now, because Pluto, which rules your 12th house of the spirit guides, the underworld, and also your ancestors, is right next to your 1st house ruler in your 1st house. So a lot of you have a lot of signs right now. That's what I see for you, and a lot of emotions coming up. So that's all I have for you, Sag. I hope you have a good one, and I'll see you later. Bye. Hi, Capricorn. Welcome to what you need to hear right now based on tarot and astrology. I am using sidereal degrees, not tropical, so if it sounds different, that's because it is. Your sidereal, rising, and moon will be the most accurate, but if you don't know those, you can check out your other tropical placements if it doesn't resonate. But one thing I will say about you, Capricorn, if you're a Capricorn rising, sun, or moon, one thing about you is you are someone who's always going to be very ambitious in life, because that means either your sun, your focus is on Capricorn, your mind, moon is in Capricorn, or your rising is in Capricorn, which means in this life you are meant to make a name for yourself professionally. So a lot of you have a lot of ambitions predictions for the future. A lot of you do, especially when I see the Queen of Swords with Libra in your 10th house. A lot of you, it is part of your dream. It's a part of your destiny to really make a name for yourself in your given career. In Indian astrology, a lot of Indian astrologers say if you have your moon in Capricorn, which is your personality and mind, you're some of the most wealthiest, or that it's your destiny to have a legacy in whatever it is that you choose to do. And I want you to know that, Capricorn. And I know a lot of you were in a very difficult cycle of healing for the past 6 months. A lot of you went through the last 6 months really suffering because we were on an eclipse cycle of Capricorn in your first house, which means you were learning to take accountability for yourself. You were figuring out who you were. You were going through dark night of the soul with Saturn in your first house, either over your sun, moon, or your first house of personality. A lot of you spent this time to really heal from a lot of karma you were going through. And this could have even been like self-worth issues in a marriage, issues with partnerships, work issues, downfall from work, whatever the case was. You were in that cycle for the last 6 months where you were going through the worst of it, because Saturn is in your first house or over your sun or moon, which causes a lot of trouble, a lot of karma. But since the lunar eclipse in Capricorn happened, from now on it is going to be so much smoother of a road for you. That karma, that chapter of your life is finally closed, and now it's going to be smooth sailing ahead. And if you see gum in my mouth, this is the nicotine gum that I am still chewing on occasionally when I work to ease anxiety. But which leads me to my next point, Capricorn. A lot of you with North Node in the 6th house have really started to work on your health and heal your health, and also your mental health as well, as I see with Inward Revolution. So you spent the last 6 months leveling up your mental health, your physical health. A lot of you are releasing some addictions that you had, either cigarettes, either alcohol, drugs, or bad karmic habits, or you're starting to really get to know yourself on a deep spiritual level where you're able to take accountability for the things that you are doing. And a lot of you guys have grown so much internally, Capricorn, that now you are starting to, it's showing on your outward appearance and your face and the way you conduct yourself, how much you have grown through all of the hardships you have went through in the last 6 months. And I really mean that. A lot of you guys have completely changed as people from the inside, just simply by changing a lot of habits, and because you've had to gather a lot of strength for yourself. And this new strength is really showing. And what I'm seeing for you guys, Capricorn, is during this cycle, starting this month, or towards the end of this month, towards the beginning of August, you're going to build up a new reputation. You're going to build up a new reputation for yourself, and you are really going to be shining professionally. And I know a lot of you, ambition is a very big thing for you. You have a lot of big dreams, and I see that with this cycle, the next 6 months, you're really going to build that up again. And I see public recognition. I see an improvement in career. I see you building a legacy for yourself up again. But the past 6 months, you had to go through that hardship. You had to go through dark night of the soul. You had to heal and address a lot of things that were going on internally that were your shadow side that wasn't right, okay? But you've successfully rid yourself of everything holding you back. That's what I see for you, Capricorn. And I'm so sorry you went through all of the Saturn lessons that you have the last 6 months, but this was for your greater good. The universe is never trying to punish you. This was for the greater good of you healing your mental health and healing your soul from the inside, because a lot of you, you'll notice that after these hardships, you're a lot stronger of a person, and you're more in alignment with the person you are meant to become. That's what I see for you, Capricorn. And also I see as well, Capricorn, one of the big ways you can heal yourself during this time you guys have done a lot of healing already on your physical and mental health. I do see that you're eating better, you're healthier, you are getting rid of toxic things. But one thing I'm also seeing is pets and animals. Like, a lot of you might have gotten a pet or thinking about getting a pet. These are all good things for you. I'm seeing that your animals around you are actually acting as healers to you during this difficult time. So this is a good time to bond with your pets because they were sent here to help you get through the difficult times. But what I'm also seeing from this Capricorn is that you feel very alienated from other people. There's not a lot of connections around you. There's not a lot of friendships recently. That's the only thing that I see that has been bothering you recently, is maybe it's like a lack of partnership or romance, or a lack of friendships. But I'm seeing that you feel very alone, because I see it with this one too. You're not alone. Isolation, physical connection, community. A lot of you feel alone, like nobody understands you, like you're fighting this alone, like, you know, you're walking this path alone. You're not. I feel like you're really being called to really, with Mars in your third house, find your community and find your tribe. And with Mars, which is the wake-up call planet, that's in your third house of Pisces. So really, this is a wake-up call to go and find your tribe. Now, Pisces rules the 12th house of Sagittarius, right? And Jupiter, Pluto, which rules Pisces, is in the 12th house, which means a lot of you are going to find your tribe. A lot of you are going to find like your community when you go overseas, when you move somewhere, when you join some sort of spiritual group. This is the place where you're going to find your tribe, is with people who are spiritual, with people who have similar spiritual beliefs, or with people who live overseas or are from a different culture than you, because the 12th house is spiritual places. The 12th house is foreign countries, foreign cultures. And I see with this traveler, a lot of you might want to move overseas, or a lot of you with Uranus in the 4th house might want to join some sort of spiritual group, some sort of spiritual community, or a lot of you just want to find a community of people that you can live with and share ideas with, or that have the same core values as you. These are all things that I'm seeing, but I see a lot of you are blocked off because Capricorn, a lot of you need friendships with Aquarius in the 2nd house, but a lot of you have really poor experiences with people because Aquarius rules your 11th house of Scorpio, which brings darkness. As much as I love Scorpio, Scorpio is a dark sign. And it's with Scorpio in the 11th house, this means that in the past people have betrayed you. This means that in the past, people have been proven untrustworthy, and in the past, you were taken advantage of for your kind heart, for your openness, and now you have learned to really be this badger that kind of like holds itself up. That's very defensive with the Queen of Swords. But what I'm seeing with Ready to Love Again is a lot of you, you're ready to trust yourself and your inner knowing about who's your friend, who you can trust and who you can't. You have grown that much as a person, and I'm seeing you are ready to love again. And I'm seeing that a lot of you are getting a lot of dreams, a lot of symbolic dreams, signs or symbols about where you need to go in life, because a lot of you, your crown chakra is really opening up to the spiritual realms. And I'm seeing with the Badger card, the 4 of Crystals, a lot of you might be worried about money, or a lot of you are very worried about your finances right now. Don't be worried about your finances, Capricorn. I know that's easier said than done. I know you guys are on survival mode, but when you are doing your passion and you do what you love, the universe is going to find a way to hook you up, because essentially Saturn is in your 1st house not to punish you. It's in your 1st house to really show you who you are and what you really want, away from just the need to be famous and succeed and have money like Capricorn, such as myself, Moon, want. It's trying to show you who you are, away from the chase from money and fame and status, and what it is that you really want that will make you happy. It's trying to teach you that by showing you who you really are and showing you what you really want when that's taken away, so you can chase your passion. And when you chase your passion, not only are you going to be spiritually fulfilled, you're also going to be financially fulfilled as well. And with Libra in your 10th house, guys, and Libra originally rules the 7th house, is a lot of you in this life, you are meant to work with other people. You are meant to really collaborate with other people, work with other people. But the thing is, like, trusting yourself, putting up boundaries with yourself about who you can and can't trust. But I feel like a lot of you are being called to do that, specifically with spiritual people or specifically with people overseas. A lot of you Capricorns, what I'm hearing too is a lot of you have lost a friend in your life very early, very young. A lot of you have lost like some sort of friend from drugs or from they just took their life, or some of you have lost a friend very young. I'm hearing that your friend likes to visit you in your dreams, and also they're trying to push you towards the right path of where you need to go. They're working as your spirit guide, and I'm getting the chills. And this is because right now in your 12th house of spirit guides, you have Pluto and Jupiter, which talks about spirit guides. Divine intervention. They are really working as your spirit guides to this deceased friend who passed away young. With You Are Not Alone, to really follow your passion instead of following your fear. They're with you during this hard time, and I'm hearing they visit you in your dreams or in a dream state, or they talk to you when you're half asleep or something like that. And I'm also hearing too with this dream catcher, a lot of you might be having a lot of trouble sleeping right now, or a lot of you might be thinking about going to a psychic healer. These are all things that would be good with the South Node in the 12th house. Some of you, if you wanted to right now, if you meditated, if you listened to certain beats, if you went to a psychic healer, if you did tarot cards, if you went to a Reiki healer, these are all things that are going to be good for you. So that's all I have for you. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you later. Bye. Hi Aquarius, welcome to your July 2020 reading based on tarot, astrology, and also tarot and astrology based on the sidereal placements. This is going to be more accurate for your rising or moon in sidereal, but I mean, if you felt the need to click on this could be a message for you as well. Check out your other signs if it doesn't resonate. This is what I see for you. First of all, I had the card about soul love, which tells me that a lot of you are in a relationship with your soulmate, or you have just met your soulmate, or really soon, a lot of you Aquariuses are going to meet your romantic soulmate. And this is going to once again be more accurate if you're a sidereal, rising, or moon, but this could apply any other way. And I know a lot of you are really bitter about relationships. You don't believe they could happen. You might even think that you don't have a soulmate. But Aquarius, I want to tell you this because I don't like to say, oh, your soulmate is coming just because I get a soul love card, because I know from 2 years of experience that sometimes it can mean different things, right? But what I will tell you is that I actually had 5 different soulmate cards that popped out of the decks that tell me that you are about to meet your soulmate, or you are with your soulmate currently. So once again, I want to reiterate, I do not say, I don't give false hope. I had 5 different cards though, and sorry about my blue fingers and blue teeth. I was just eating blueberries. But we had the soul love card, okay, and the number 33 on it, which reminds me of meeting your husband, meeting your wife, meeting your soulmate, the one who's destined for you. And then we also had the true love come to me card. So that's 2 soulmate cards that I saw. I also had the companionship card, so that's 3 right there. And then I also had commitment. That's the 4th soulmate card that I have for you, okay? And then I also had the 5th one of soul love, soulmates, attraction, partnership, and the promise. So there you go, guys. I have 5 soulmate cards, 1 soulmate card in each deck, and they all happen to come out in all 5 decks, and I got it for you Aquarius. So if you are in a relationship right now, this is likely your soulmate. Or what could have happened is, what I'm seeing with this release card is some of you could have recently released a soulmate. And I want you to know that if you recently broke up with somebody, that your real soulmate is around the corner, and you cannot miss your soulmate, because your soulmate is destiny. I see a lot of you have been manifesting your soulmate as well. That's another thing. And because Jupiter Pluto has retrograded back in sidereal astrology to your 11th house of wishes coming true, this means, especially with Pluto there, with Jupiter there, guys, like, your luck is about to change, Aquarius, essentially. I know a lot of you, it's kind of seemed for a while that things weren't moving, that luck wasn't coming your way, that things weren't working out the way that you wanted it to work out. It was like this for everybody. A lot of you had a hard time seeing the positivity and blessings that were in your life because Jupiter Pluto was in your 12th house of Capricorn, which means a lot of you just kind of had a hard time seeing, you know, the good things in your life. And I'm seeing that a lot of you spent the last 6 months working on your skills, your creative talents, your hobbies, and a lot of you have done a lot of self-work as well, internal self-work, and also with Gemini in the North Node in your 5th house, building up your knowledge on your interest and your creative hobbies, all of that stuff. What I see for you, Aquarius, is that you are definitely about to meet your soulmate, probably within the next few months, or you already are with them. And if you broke up with someone recently, that's because this was making room for your real soulmate. And I see with Jupiter Pluto retrograding back into your wishes coming true, when Jupiter Pluto goes direct again, which is likely going to be, which is like at the end of September, this is when the full manifestation of what I'm talking about is going to come. First of all, it's not just love. A lot of you have been manifesting, and manifestations, I've realized, work with the cycle of astrology. And because Jupiter Pluto, the planet of abundance, is in your 11th house, this means, guys, that a lot of you by the end of September, you're going to see prosperity coming your way. Prosperity, career success, things working in your favor. A lot of things just going in your favor, especially with the prosperity card. So now would be the time to manifest, guys, because your wishes can come true right now. You guys are really lucky as of this moment. And what I'm seeing too is like your heart chakra is opening up. So there's an increase in mood during the last 2 weeks of July. There's an increase in fun. There's an increase in connection, because, guys, what I'm seeing for you is that the end of a difficult, slow period is coming, and now this is just the period of the healing and releasing. So, guys, just know that this is the end of a difficult time. Your mood is on the way up. Your manifestations are coming. And from now until September, blessings are really going to unfold for you. But it might seem slow. It might not go as fast as you want, because I'm seeing with the Knight of Wands, guys, a lot of you are going very fast in your life. You want excitement. You want fun. You are creative. You are making things happen right now. You're expressing yourself, all of that. But it's almost like you're going a little too fast, because we have to remember that Saturn is still in Capricorn in the 12th house. And, you know, this slows things down. And the sun is going to be opposed Capricorn. So your sun at the end of July is going to be in the 6th house, and opposing it is Saturn in the 12th house, which means that a lot of you might want to go a lot faster. A lot of you might want blessings right now, abundance right now. But what I'm seeing is that you are on the right path. You are literally, I'm seeing you are on the right path, and you are turning lemons into lemonade, as I see with the Alchemist card. You all are turning lemons into lemonade, and you are manifesting really great things for yourself. But when I see the Knight of Crystals in reverse next to this, this talks about slow and steady wins the race. This talks about a slower progression than what you want. And also what I see with this Strength card, this Camel, and the Elephant card that represented you, your spirit animals for this month. Both of these animals, first of all, live in really dry, hot places. They're also they endure a lot. They're not the fastest, but they're able to go very long distances with barely any water. And I see, Aquarius, a lot of you have been working your butts off. You have been dedicated to your path. You have been putting a lot of consistent energy into making your life better, into working on a partnership, into turning a bad situation into a good situation. A lot of you really have been, you know, for the longest time, steadily building up, doing everything you can, putting a lot of effort out there, working with barely any reward is what I'm seeing, in very harsh conditions. But I want you to know, Aquarius, that Jupiter-Pluto is back in your 11th house, which means things are looking up for you again. Manifestations are happening for you again. Hope is coming for you again. And not only that, specifically with some sort of romantic partnership, a committed partnership with somebody. And if it's not that, for some of you, it could be, you know, friends, family, whatever. But I really feel it's a romantic connection. And I also see with this, oh my gosh, the yin and the yang, guys. This could be a twin flame relationship that's going on right here. Because Aquarius, I'm going to tell you something, that you have Libra in the 9th house, which means that if you're moon or rising Aquarius in this life, you are meant to learn about relationships. You are meant to. And also in this life, with the Libra being in the 9th house, this tells me that one of your biggest wishes for the future is to be with someone, to work with someone who understands you, a yin to your yang. So what I'm seeing for you, Aquarius, is that your soulmate with this Gemini card, which also reminds me of twin flames because it rules the lovers and tarot. This is a mirror reflection. This is white and black. This is twin flame, two opposites that come together and that work together really well. So one of you I'm seeing is going to be more outgoing, fiery, adventurous, and creative, while the other person is going to be more business minded and handle the small details and handle you know, the practical things. That's what I'm seeing about you guys. So one person's going to be the adventurous, free spirit, the creative, the feisty, imaginative one, and one's going to be more hardworking, business-minded, and practical. And when you guys come together, you are going to create something amazing together, whether it's a family, a relationship, or you even work together. Because I see for some of you guys, you might even work together on a creative project with this person or something like that. And I also see that with the Strength card as well. This talks about, like the Strength card is the infinity, the 8, and in traditional tarot it talks about, the guy taming the lion. So I really sense that for you guys, whether it's a partnership, it is a friendship, or it is a business relationship or a romantic relationship. This person, you two together, are going to be opposites who really create something amazing. And I know a lot of you have gotten into a very negative headspace recently, where things were slowed down, where there was a lot of issues about money and not being good enough, and kind of feeling like nothing good ever comes your way. Because when I see beggar, dependence on others to the exclusion of effort, like kind of feeling not good enough. But what I'm seeing, guys, with Mars in your 2nd house, this is the end of the struggle. Things are going to start looking really good for you guys. I really sense that. So Aquarius, I actually feel like you might be one of the luckiest people towards the end of the year. So start manifesting, because your manifestations are going to come true. And I also saw this black and white card as well. Yin yang energy once again, guys. So I really feel like you are going to meet your opposite, who really helps you move forward in life. Wow, guys, like this is so freaking beautiful. Some of you might even get married, or there might be a marriage proposal, or you might move in together. But whatever the case is, and you know what I also feel like too, Aquarius? I feel like you are finally in alignment with yourself. You finally have balanced out your energies, your masculine and feminine energies. That's another thing I've heard. So honestly, what I want to tell you is, good for you. Like, congratulations. Like, I feel like you're in a really good place and you've done a lot of self-work. And I feel like, I just need to tell you that, good job, because you really do deserve that. Good job on everything that you have done. So that's all I have for you. Bye. Okay, Pisces, so welcome to your horoscope. This will resonate more for rising and moon and sidereal, but if this resonates, feel free to stay. But if it doesn't resonate, check out your other signs for sidereal, sun, moon, and rising, or tropical, whatever you feel called to. All right, Pisces, so this is the message I have for you. Firstly, I can tell that a lot of you are going through some stuff. I definitely feel that way because of the grieving card. A lot of you, something has happened recently. I don't know if it's like an emotional thing. I don't know if it was like a specific incident that happened, but a lot of you are really sad on a soul level. Maybe some of you don't even want to face it. Maybe some of you don't even want to address it, but I'm going to tell you right now, Pisces, that a lot of you are suffering in your heart and in your soul. A lot of you, and it doesn't necessarily mean that something has happened. It could literally just mean that currently you have lost hope. You feel like nothing good happens. You are in your head, you're emotional, you're kind of feeling negative, you're distracting yourself in order not to face that you have this emptiness inside. And Pisces, one thing about you is you are very strong people. When people think of Pisces, a lot of people will say, oh, they're weak and they're this. No, Pisces are really strong people. They have Aries in the second house of the things that they value, which means that Pisces value strength. They don't like to have people pity them. They like to be strong. They like to, they naturally come off as strong people and they like it that way. One thing about Pisces is they have the ability to be extremely empathetic, extremely caring, extremely emotional, but you will never see them let you see their weak side unless they really trust you. But Pisces, I have to say that you are going through some sort of sadness right now, situational or just in general depression, like a grieving in your heart. And don't let anyone tell you, well, you should just be happy. Everything's working out right. Why aren't you happy? It's okay to be depressed. It's okay to cry in the shower. It's okay to tell people who you trust that you're not feeling good. It's not going to drain them. It's not going to bother them. It's okay, because most of the time, like with your good friends, especially since you're someone who doesn't do that a lot, they will like that you came to them and asked for help or asked them to listen, because it's not like you take advantage of that. It's not like you do that often, but I really feel like a lot of you, first of all, I see with Own Your Divine Power, a lot of you have recently, it says, replace codependent people-pleasing with assertiveness and empowerment. A lot of you, for some reason, have recently lost your power and have become very people-pleasing to certain people. Or, with Uranus in your second house, which rules groups of people who have been in your second house of assets, money, and all of that stuff, a lot of you have let people take advantage of you. Whatever the case is, I sense that a lot of you are sick of being taken advantage of. You're sick of being walked all over. And I'm kind of sensing here with exiled as well. Guys, this is really dark, but we're going to get to the good stuff, okay? I just want to address this so I understand what you're going through. It says illusion of separation, disconnect and isolation. A lot of you have felt like you are, like people don't like you, that you're being ignored, that you're being rejected, that you're all alone. A lot of you feel like unworthy. Like it's almost like a lot of you feel like you're being secluded from other people, or nobody really cares about you, or you don't have anyone around you who is your real friend. That's all of these things is what I see. Yeah, and I also see that with the protection card, Pisces, waning crescent. It almost feels like, to me, a lot of you right now, you feel very weak and you feel very alone and you feel empty. Whatever the case is, Pisces, I want you to know that astrologically, you're actually being tested right now. And the reason why the universe tests you is to help you grow into a Pisces, which is what you are learning to be in your life, right? And when you have Uranus, the planet of groups of people, in your second house of assets, what this is doing is the universe is provoking you by sending you a lot of people who are going to overstep your boundaries and try to take from you, to get you to stand up for yourself and defend yourself. Because as a Pisces rising, or sun or moon, you are not meant to be a pushover. That is not your path. Actually, as a Pisces rising sun or moon, it is your path to completely give yourself to a cause or your morals, or to stand up for yourself in a big way, because Aries is in the second house, and Aries is a sign of action, war, and clear boundaries. So Pisces, in this life, you are actually meant to be a healer, but also a healer who knows, a healer, or with Pisces, we're going to get into that, healer, a teacher, whatever, but you also have to have strong boundaries for yourself. Strong boundaries when people try to take advantage of you, take advantage of your, like, let's say you're a healer and you're accepting less than you deserve, or you're giving out free advice, or whatever the case is, or maybe it's even like you date people who need a lot of help and they end up taking from you because it is your natural instinct as a Pisces rising to try to fix people or try to fix broken birds. Pisces, you're like this bird that's carrying somebody in the nest. You're trying to carry grown adults, grown people on this nest, and like float them across. Like, you're always trying to take the weight of the world on your shoulders because you want to help other people, and because it's your natural inclination. And unfortunately, so there was a ring from spirit that kind of just confirmed what we were saying. Whenever that happens, I like to see it as like a confirmation bell. You're trying to help all these people, teach all these people, be there for all these people. But at the same time, it's like, what about you? Who is it that's worth your time? Who is it that's not worth your time? Because when I see the Two of Pentacles, I will say this for you guys, Pisces, the Two of Pentacles in tarot for me represents a crooked character. This could represent like someone who is an alcoholic, someone who's on drugs, someone who's dishonest, crooked partners, crooked friends, crooked people, right? That's the Two of Pentacles in my mind. And I kind of feel like a lot of you with Saturn in the 11th house, this could just be like putting your energy in the wrong people, the wrong partnerships. And when I see the full moon in Scorpio as well, what I see is that a lot of you, Scorpio rules your 9th house of religion and spirituality, right? And the 9th house is faith in God, but the irony is you have Scorpio in there. So a lot of you might even be angry at God, or a lot of you might not even believe that anything good is about to happen in your career, because what I'm seeing is Jupiter and Pluto is in your 10th house, and Jupiter rules your first house originally, with Pluto in your 10th house conjunction. So a lot of you are dealing with a lot of darkness. A lot of you are dealing with a lot of rage is what I'm hearing. And a lot of you are dealing with a lot of resentment, anger, depression. And I feel like this all stems from feeling like you're being taken advantage of, you're not being noticed. And also, I just feel like a lot of you need a good cry in the shower. That's honestly what I see, because when I see the Six of Winter, this reminds me of just having a good cry. I don't know why it does, but it just does. And I think a lot of you are starting to see people for who they are, with Neptune going retrograde in your 12th house. And this could also be as well, guys, like, keep in mind that a lot of this could be an internal thing, because I do see Mercury retrograde, and Mercury retrograde talks about not really seeing things very clearly, kind of seeing things from a negative standpoint, Pisces. So if you feel alone, if you're feeling like no one gets you, you're all alone, everyone hates you, this could be just kind of like a mental thing that you're going through with Mercury retrograde in your 4th house that's causing you to kind of think irrationally. So keep that in mind as well. And I'm not discrediting your feelings. I'm just saying, like, it might not actually be the case that you're alone. It could just feel like you're alone. You know what I mean? And in reality, it's not really how you're thinking it is. So one thing I do see with the Empress, guys, is I want to let you know that you guys are beautiful. First of all, you are absolutely beautiful. A lot of you with Mars in the 1st house, you might feel the need to change your appearance, or you might be comparing yourself to other people with the way that you look. I want you to know that I had the Empress and glamour right here. You are freaking beautiful, Pisces, and I'm not just saying that. You have Chiron in the 1st house, you have Lilith in the 1st house, Mars in the 1st house of your appearance. You guys are literally like movie star beautiful. And I say this because I realize that some of the biggest classic movie stars are Pisces risings, because they have those far apart eyes, those doe eyes, those big thick lips, the youthful face. Like, You guys are beautiful, and I really feel like you need to know this. Like, I don't even know why I have to say it to you. It's kind of obvious that you're attractive. Pisces, sun, moon, rising, you guys are extremely attractive, okay? Like, all of you, like, even if it's not outwardly, if you're a sun, it's your soul is attractive and it shines outward through. But if you're a moon and rising, definitely. Now, a lot of you Pisces, one thing I do see as well is a lot of you are really worried about a home situation or a family situation. There's a lot of worry going on about your home, your family, or a lot of you feel like you don't really have a sanctuary in your home. There is something going on in your home life, because I see the North Node in your 4th house and also Mercury going retrograde in your 4th house, which means maybe there's issues with your family, your home life, where it is that you're living currently. But right next to it, I have the divine timing card that popped up as well. I see that. So if a lot of you are worried about a place to live, what is happening with your home, what is going on with your home or family, or whatever problem going on in your home and family, I want you to know that everything is going to be okay, because with this bird and the protection in the nest, I see that you're heading towards a safe place to live, or your family, the person that you're worried about, is really protected right now by an ancestor or a spirit guide or by God. And also, I also noticed that there is this red canary symbolism quite a bit. So a lot of you might see red canaries, or there might be a connection to red canaries, or like a bird that has red on its head. This is a sign your spirit guides are around, or maybe you knew someone who was alive that liked the red birds or cardinals or whatever. I feel like there's a huge connection to that and red symbolism. So if you're worried about a family member, your home situation, any of that stuff, they're going to be okay because they're being protected. And also I see that for those of you worried about a home situation, that a good home is coming very soon, probably when Venus enters your 4th house of Gemini. So that's going to be in a few months, but I see like a beautiful home situation with Venus going into the 4th coming your way. And also, I kind of got the message for you Pisces. Some of you have not fully healed from some sort of awful relationship that you have gone through in the past. Some of you have not fully healed from that. And I think that with Chiron going retrograde in your 1st house, what this is really going to do it's going to unveil a lot of emotions that you didn't realize you had, in order to get you to heal from whatever that was. And I want you to know that a lot of you have a soul family out there, friendships out there, but what I'm seeing is that friendships are always going to be hard for you, because in this life you are learning how to open up your heart, develop your own creativity, because with Cancer in the 5th house, your heart is very guarded, right? But also that's because in this life you're meant to nurture your own creative expression and focus on that. So friendships will always be blocked off for you until you nurture your own creativity, you nurture yourself, you really nurture yourself and focus on what brings you joy. When you do that, that is when friendships are going to come into your life, because I do see with soul family that you do have soul families coming into your life, and one of them is the King of Summer. So this is a male I'm seeing coming into your life, and this is someone who's a romantic partner you can trust, excellent advice that comes from the heart, getting involved in a cultural or creative endeavor. So this could even be somebody who's really spiritual, a male coming into your life who's really spiritual, or at least very empathetic, very kind, very emotionally mature. Somebody who could possibly, because Scorpio rules your 9th house, be religious or from a different country, or they could be somebody who is very wise, older, but I see a male coming into your life who's kind of like empathetic, who's going to be a part of your soul family. And I also see the Emperor, so Aries energy as well. Somebody who is a boss, someone who's very established, somebody who is structured, organized, authoritative. So I see a lot of older males coming into your life who are going to end up being a part of your soul family and your friendships, because I know friendships are hard for you, but I specifically saw 2 males coming in for you. So that's all I have for you Pisces. I hope you have a good one, and I'll see you later. Bye.